Where's the button? Oh, God. That's what I'm looking for. There we go. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome, welcome to Lost Initiative Episode 0 for our newest member and newest player, wonderful Doxy. What up, Dox?
Episode 0, Doxy.
Episode.
Right?
God, I'm mad at myself that I wasn't even that witty. Like, that's so easy. That's a gimme.
It's the lowest hanging fruit.
It really is, and yet I miss it somehow, and somehow, some way. Welcome. It's been a while since we've done a session here on the channel. Probably about a month since the episode 0 with Maggie. But we're getting the ball rolling now. I hope you're excited, Doxy.
I'm so excited.
If you missed our character creation, that will be up on the YouTube channel in the next few days. If you're a sub, you can actually watch the VOD whenever you want on the Twitch channel here. I've been spending all day flipping through the book, trying to figure out ways to kill her character as quickly as possible. So this will be really, really fun. All right. So before we get going, Doxy, and just for everybody to, as a reminder, episode 0s generally for me are a good way to get an idea of where the character's at. Let Doxy kind of feel out the mentality of the character, the personality. Also as a way for me to serve how Doxy's character ends up where she is in episode 1 when the whole party gets together for the first time. Also, since this is a new rule system for Doxy as well, it's a way for her to get familiar with the rules, not necessarily master them, but make things a little bit easier for the both of us. I've also been flipping through the combat stuff, so I have a pretty strong grip on the combat compared to the last time when I was playing through. Hey, Scott, what's going on, man? Were we supposed to do something at 9, Scott? Was I supposed to do something at 9 with you? I may have forgotten.
Oh, no.
It's fine. He'll be okay. We can always do it after. I don't think it was anything major. He'll tell me. I'm sorry, Scott. I forgot. I sat down and I was like, all right, let's just do this. Oh, well. Natty 1. It's all good. The other thing, so yeah, it's a way for her to get familiar with the rules, familiar with her character, and kind of a prequel story. The other thing, too, that I want to... You know what? I won't actually talk about that until episode 1-1, I think. The other thing we're going to go over really quickly is where the galaxy is at as far as the story. I've kind of gone over it in every episode 0, but to make sure that everybody has a refresher and Doxy knows where the galaxy's sitting at, I'm going to go over it real quick. So, the story that we're talking about is going to be taking place between episodes 6 and 7. So, right after, during the time where there's peace in the galaxy, the Emperor is dead, Luke is a Jedi, legend, more or less, and he's out there somewhere with the Jedi Temple, and he's doing his own thing. He's training his own Padawans. Ben is probably like 10 or so years old at this point. We're not entirely sure. However, the core planets in the center of the galaxy are constantly at war with one another. Just because the Emperor is dead doesn't mean that the Empire just dissolves completely. There's a power vacuum now within the Empire, and people are constantly struggling to fill the role that Vader and the Emperor had. So there's all kinds of kind of power-hungry officers who are constantly vying for power. This is a time before the First Order arose. This is a time before Snoke came in and created the First Order and just kind of filled that power vacuum. No one really knows who Snoke is yet. He hasn't made any name for himself, and things are just relatively kind of chaotic in the core worlds, but more peaceful in the Outer Rim. That's Tatooine, Dantooine, all those planets. The Outer Rim, they weren't affected as much by Empire control. It made black markets and drug running and all their shady business a little harder to do because the Empire did have a presence out there, but it was never too difficult. However, that the Outer Rim is completely void of any Empire at all. Most of the stormtroopers and whatnot have kind of come back to the core worlds while there's a fighting happening within to kind of help who they believe should be the next leader of the Empire, leaving all of that Empire guard in the Outer Rim gone, and all of the crime lords to rise up again and really start trying to make a name for themselves and kind of stake a claim on things. Power vacuum, where have you heard that before? I'm not entirely sure. It's a pretty common term. Our actually story with Doxy finds ourselves on the Outer Rim. Doxy's character, Cora, actually lives on Dantooine, specifically with someone she calls Uncle, I want to say Jonas. Yeah, Uncle Jonas, like the Jonas Brothers. He was the fourth Jonas brother. He didn't get to sing. He just got the farm. He didn't have the talent. The scene kind of opens up here on Dantooine. Now, Dantooine, like I said, is an Outer Rim planet, but it's unlike Tatooine, Dantooine is a lush forest world. There's forest everywhere, and the thing it's really only was ever known for at any point in time, outside of the KOTOR series, which is not really canon anymore, unfortunately, is that it had a rebel base on it at one point. That rebel base has all been but abandoned. It's not needed anymore. The war isn't happening anymore. And the rebellion has been turned into the New Republic, more or less. So there isn't really a need for them to have that base. That base has been abandoned for many, many, many years, maybe even decades at this point, or close to 2 decades. So I'm sure maybe you've heard of it, Doxy. Your character knows that there's a base somewhere on the planet.
Oh, for sure.
But you've definitely not seen it, nor have you explored it, nor you don't even know if it's still being guarded or if it's been left to be overgrown by the woods and the like.
If it's just ruins.
Yeah, if it's just ruins, or maybe some criminals have found it and used it as a hideout. Who knows? You don't know. It's not really anything that's really all that important to you. It's kind of neat that your planet's at least known for something. Most Outer Rim planets are just known for being crime-infested, like hellholes. But Dantooine is more or less kind of a quiet planet that nobody really cares all that much about. You are a farmer of sorts, and while you're not a moisture farmer on Tatooine, you're a typical regular farmer. Most of the people on Dantooine are humans, and you are no exception. You are a human like probably 80% of the people that live on Dantooine. There's really only 2 major cities, and only one that you know of. And the major city that you know of, specifically, is it's a stupid name, but it's called Dantoo Town. It's kind of the capital of Dantooine, if there is a capital of Dantooine at all. It is the largest city. It's got thousands of people there, but outside of that, there's sparse settlements here or there. People come to Dantooine to lead a quiet life, away from the hubbub of technology and spacefaring and the dangers of living on the Outer Rim. And that's where your Uncle Jonas has been here, as far as you know, most of his life. Probably not all of it, but most of it. And for one reason or another, it's up to you if you want to share that. You are with your uncle, and have been since you were a child. You've lived a farmer's life for however long it's been, and you are used to it. And we find your character as the camera comes into focus and, the black screen turns and music starts to swell. Your character is out in the fields tending to the farms. The damp, moist, regular weather weighs heavy on your character. It almost is always raining on Dantooine. If it's not, it's almost always muggy and disgusting, but you're used to it. And she's kind of just tilling her farms as the camera kind of comes closer and closer. Now, as the camera comes closer, what does our wonderful Cora look like?
Oh, golly. Okay, so.
Go for it. And you can always adjust as needed as time goes.
So far, what I'm thinking, right, is that she has a strong body. Like, she looks like maybe like a swimmer or a gymnast or something, right?
Very in shape.
Right. And she has maybe like shoulder length, dark hair, and a couple of like scars just from farm life, and she wears overalls and just like a like button up shirt, kind of like just really easy clothes to move around in and farm in. Maybe a loose tunic or something instead underneath of this.
Yeah. So comfortable but functional.
And she has like almost silver gray eyes.
Ooh, I like it. Silver gray eyes. Sweet. As far as your uncle looks, do you care? You want me to take the reins on how your uncle looks, or do you have in your head how your uncle
nuts.
looks?
I have nothing for Jonas.
So we find ourselves kind of close to sunset. The time of farming for the day, for the most part, is over, and you hear the automatic magnetic door of the small 2-bedroom house that you've been living in for, however long you've been here, a decade and a half or so, kind of slide open with its distinct shk. And you hear the footsteps of crunching on the dirt and leaves, the heavy footsteps of your Uncle Jonas. Turning to look at him, he's a man in his mid-50s, early 60s, if you didn't know his age and you just kind of saw him at a glance. He's got that rugged look, very similar to you, but he's well-built, especially for his age. But however many scars and however worn you look, he has like 3 times that because he's been, doing it a lot longer.
Yeah.
However, there are days where he takes it easy and kind of lets you do most of the work, and today was one of those days. His knee was acting up, and his back wasn't feeling all that great, so he took the day.
Again.
It's that darn rain, making it very difficult for an old man to do much. He himself is wearing very loose, kind of comfortable clothing, and he just kind of steps out, leans up against the house, takes a deep breath, and then after he kind of looks around in the sky, the rain is now down to more or less like a spitting or a drizzle, and he lazily brings his gaze to you and nods in almost like yeah, you're done for the day kind of way, a nod that you're very familiar with. Do you just kind of put your tools down and kind of make your way in, or do you say
Oh
anything?
yeah, come inside. Let's grab something to eat, Uncle Jonas. I'm famished.
He smiles when you say that, and he's like, I knew you'd say that, and don't worry, I got food on the table waiting for you. You worked double hard today, so I made sure to make you something that's gonna fill you up.
As per usual.
He says I do what I can to take care of you. From at this point, you are 24 years old. How long has it been since you've heard from your mother?
Couple months.
Couple months now?
Starting to get a little worried.
Okay. And have you talked to Jonas about it?
I mentioned that she missed like our monthly call the past couple of times. And he's just like, she's a busy lady. This has happened in the past. It's not often, but be cool. You don't know anything yet.
Does Jonas seem to, because I'm not sure you mentioned it, but does Jonas have a relationship with your parents at all? Does he seem to not care?
It's in there. It's in
missed
there.
it.
Yeah, they were close.
Okay.
He's related to my mother, and they were close when they were little, but they went two different
Separate
ways
ways in life.
politically.
Gotcha.
And that really kind of put a rift between them. But like they obviously still love each other. They just maybe don't like each other very much.
Okay. But he would have at least a little bit of worry for her if you were like,
Yeah,
hey, I haven't heard for a couple months.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
He doesn't want anything bad to happen to her for sure.
So you sit down at the table, and there's a big plate of food there. Lots of vegetables, a big hunk and slab of meat, probably maybe bantha meat. It's cheap, it's easy to get. It's not the best, but it serves the purpose.
Tasty to me after a day on the farm.
Yeah, I'm sure it tastes delicious. And it's not seasoned terribly. He's not a terrible cook. He's had to cook for himself his whole life for the most part. So the food tastes good and it's filling. And he actually sits on the other side of the table as he's eating with you and doesn't really say much for a little while. He keeps to himself. He's overall a relatively quiet guy in general, but he's kind of picking at his food a little bit more half-heartedly than you've seen him pick at his food for. Maybe a few minutes go by before either one of you breaks the silence. If you don't want to break the silence, he will.
You want maybe a fun drink with dinner tonight, Uncle Jonas?
He looks up curiously.
We have any beer?
No beer, but I got some moonshine left over.
I could go grab that. Seems like you could maybe use some.
Yeah. I have a feeling I'm going to have a hard time sleeping tonight. Go grab that.
All right, I go and I get it.
Sure, you go, and the way the house is laid out for the most part is when you walk in, like I said, it's really small. The kitchen is a kitchenette, and it's directly connected to where you're eating, and the dining room is also a living room. And then there's 2 doors in the back for 2 bedrooms, and then there's like, if you want to go to the bathroom, it's outside.
This is like exactly how I imagined it. Yeah.
Perfect. And
Straight up.
that's how it works for this place. And again, you're not too bad. He keeps the moonshine in a very easy place, a cabinet in the kitchenette. You grab it. It's half empty, but you guys don't tap into the moonshine too much anyway. This shit will knock you on your ass if you keep drink too much. You bring it over, a couple glasses in hand, and he actually reaches for you to take the bottle from you.
Here you go. You okay?
He takes a swig right from the bottle, then pours 2 glasses and puts the moonshine on the table. And he kind of sips it. Definite look of pain as the fiery liquid burns through his throat down to his stomach. He grits through his teeth, kind of breathes through. And he's like, so, heard from your mother yet?
Not yet. No, it's been a while.
What was the last time you heard from her? A couple months ago still?
A couple months ago, yeah.
Do you know what she was doing?
I mean, we don't really talk about what she does. Like, I don't really know much, I just catching up with me mostly.
She was she still entangled up with those assholes?
Yeah. She thinks they're the good guys,
Yeah, well, you'd think after seeing what they did over and over again to the people, she would learn better, but she was always a little thick. But
My
doesn't mean I'm
mom.
not worried about her. Yeah, no, I know. and his sister.
Yeah.
So he's like, so even though I haven't heard from her, in a couple months, doesn't mean I'm not worried about her. Do you know
Me too.
where she was last time you heard from her? Did she ever tell you?
I think she was still at the old Capitol.
So Coruscant probably then.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that planet. Filled with people. All of them smell. We're farmers, but we smell like the earth. We smell like the dirt that we work. Those people
I
smell
rather like the way we smell, Uncle Jonas.
And he nods. He's like, I do too. But those people on Coruscant, they smell of greed. They smell of sin. They smell of materialism and bullshit. I hate that planet, and I hate everybody on it. But if that's where your sister was last heard, I am concerned. I'm worried. The Empire's
Why? Did
been
you know something?
well. The Empire's been dismantled for at least since we've known it out here on the Outer Rim, at least a decade. And for one reason or another, your mother still had loyalties to them. When was the last time you heard from your father?
I was a child.
Yeah. Well, as far as I'm concerned, he's the reason your mother got tangled up in that shit. Anyway, I'm worried she's in trouble. The news every so often hits the hollow net of skirmishes that happen in the core worlds between the new Republic and the remnants of the Empire. The infighting of the Empire. It's not going to be good. If she's still alive. I'm just worried about her, that's all. And I'm worried you're going to get a bright idea to leave this place and go look for her.
Actually, Uncle Jonas, I've been thinking about it.
I know. I watch you stare at the stars at night sometimes.
I can't help it. She's my mom.
Unfortunately. He takes a swig of his moonshine, kind of leans back into his chair a little bit. You can hear the creaking of the old seat underneath his weight. He's not overweight, but that chair is old. You know that chair has not been replaced since you lived here.
And he probably made it.
Yeah,
like,
and it's likely he made it himself, and he's been sitting in that thing every single night. Kind of kicks his feet forward a bit, sighs, takes another sip of the moonshine, and then looks at you dead in the eyes. When are you thinking about going?
Well, I want to make sure you're taken care of. And I don't know, maybe you could go. Maybe you could come with me.
Listen, my body's built for farming. Even then, I ain't as young as you. Leaving the planet would be... I would not fit in. You're young.
I was
you can...
afraid you'd say that.
Someone needs to take care of the farm. Lord knows when you find out what happens to your mother, you're going to want to come home at some point. And somebody's got to be here to welcome you.
I wouldn't hate bringing her back here, you know.
As much as I disagree with her, I wouldn't hate that either. If she still is alive and she still is out there, I don't think the difficulty is going to be finding her. I think the difficult part is going to be convincing her to leave what she believes to be true.
I think that too. I do have a bag packed. I've had it packed for about a week.
When were you planning on going, and were you planning on telling me?
I was definitely planning on telling you. I wanted you to come. I just was waiting for the right time. I don't have a real plan.
Well, the closest starport's going to be in Dantu Town, and that's a bit of a travel. I can get you there on my speeder. Thing's rickety, but it works. Do you have... How much money you got in your pocket? I know you go to Dantoon Town every so often to sell some crops, but...
Probably 50 credits.
That's not going to get you off this planet, but I have enough saved up. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm worried she's still alive, and I'm worried your father's the reason she's missing. I don't know shit about him. All I know is she fell in love and ran off.
Yeah, he's not the nicest guy.
No. No. Which is why he's perfect for the Empire. I say we finish our dinner tonight. We get to bed. We talk a little bit about tomorrow. And we see what time we can get you to Dantu Town.
Thanks, Uncle Jonas.
Yeah.
Drink.
Yeah, he'll raise to drink. Looks you in the eye. There's a glimmer of a smirk there, but he's not as jubilant as you know him to be. This is probably as... not depressed, but as melancholy as you've ever seen Jonas here. He's not happy about it. He
Yeah.
takes a swig. He actually, with that swig, finishes his moonshine. Takes a few more bites, and kind of just nods at you and it's like, "Get some sleep, kid. You're gonna need it." And heads off to his room for the
Night,
night.
Uncle Jonas.
The door of his room opens and shuts right behind him, and you don't hear anything from him for the rest of the night. He's not a snorer, so you don't hear anything from him.
I'm gonna clean up the kitchen.
Clean up the kitchen and kind of make everything clean and good to go, and then are you gonna head right to bed after that, or do you want to do anything specific?
No, let's just get to bed.
Sure, no problem. You get to bed and you sleep without an issue. Now you have 2 combat knives, right? Do you keep those in your room? Do you keep those on your person when you're farming? Do you use those to take care of farming? I'm just curious where you
Those
typically...
are always in the pocket of my overalls.
Cool, gotcha. They're just always there, ready to fight.
Always.
Gotcha.
You never know when you're gonna need a knife, man.
True. Next morning comes, and Jonas is in a much better mood. He is smiling like he always is. He's actually feeling a lot better. It's not raining today. His limbs are working properly. And as you kind of walk out of your room, he's actually finishing breakfast and heading out into the farm to take care of some typical farming business. He smiles, says, "Hey, breakfast is ready for you, kid, whenever you want it. I'm going to be outside. I'll meet you out there. We got a lot of work to do tonight."
Okay.
I'm assuming you eat and head outside?
Yep, that's exactly what I do.
All right. Yeah, you eat your breakfast. It's delicious. It's space breakfast. Eggs from an animal of some sort, vegetables that are not normal, and possibly bacon from a pig-like creature that is not a pig because this is Star Wars. You head outside. He's tilling the fields, and you start tilling the fields, and that goes on for hours. It's still muggy. Like I said, it kind of sits on you very like a warm, wet blanket all day, but it doesn't ever break into a rain or any nasty storm. He makes like conversation with you throughout the day. Doesn't seem to really broach the topic about leaving the planet unless you personally do. For that day, he actually acts like nothing, like the last night's conversation more or less didn't happen. He keeps to himself outside of the friendly interactions that you guys have while you're both working. And then when you head inside to do lunch, he keeps things light and then goes back into the field, and then dinner rolls around for the night and he doesn't bring it up pretty much at all. Again, it's the day after, and he said he'd help you with it, but I don't know how impatient at this point Cora is to talk about it.
Yeah, Cora, it's been on her mind all day.
Yeah.
She definitely was trying to keep it as normal as possible for this day, because she doesn't know if maybe this is the last time she'll ever see her Uncle Jonas. Definitely kind of over jubilant a little bit, because she's trying to force it to be as happy of a memory as possible.
Of course.
In case of the worst. And now she's starting to get a little anxious, and it's just like, well, should I break out the moonshine?
That's up to you.
No, just cracking a joke. What are we gonna do? What's your plan, Uncle Jonas?
Listen, I told you I'd get you to Dantoon Town. Why don't we go? He thinks for a bit. Why don't we go tomorrow?
Okay.
We'll get you off this planet tomorrow. Bright and early. I want your bags packed. We'll get you off this farm.
Okay, if you need me to stay, you let me know. But
Listen,
I want to go do this.
I know. And I ain't going to be able to do much to help. So, pack your bags. We'll head out tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll make sure it's we'll make sure you're off safely. I've got enough money saved up. It'll be fine. There we go. I've been flipping for this fucking page all day long. This is the I've been looking for this. This is the map, the galaxy map. So
Okay.
I want to see what's connected to what, and what the closest planet for Dantooine is in the route that you want to take. So you the night goes on. We'll just say you guys get to bed, you clean up, very, very light, idle conversation. He basically says he'll bring you, but he also kind of leaves it at that. He doesn't really elaborate, doesn't really talk much else. It's very, very quiet. He goes to bed first, as he did last night, and you go to bed following. Now, I need you to make your very first roll tonight.
Okie doke.
Let me just crack open the character sheet real quick. You're going to be asleep, so it's going to be a difficulty of hard.
All right.
So let me set that dice pool up for you. There we go. Oh, I totally forgot to make you roll Destiny Pool. So first roll, I'm going to get this all up on the stream. I'm going to want you to roll your... Hang on one second. Boom. Now they can see it. So yeah, roll me... So we're supposed to do this at the beginning of every session. Please roll me roll Destiny, please.
Oh, no!
So we're starting the session with 2 dark side points for me to play with. Fantastic. Could you please make me a perception check while you're asleep?
Oh, jeez. All right. I didn't put anything in that.
No. You succeeded, actually. Fantastic. You succeeded with a disadvantage. Now you can take the disadvantage as a strain. Remember, your strain threshold is 12, so it's pretty high and it will go away overnight. Or you can just leave it and I can do what I feel like with it.
We are going to take that as strain.
All right, so you're up to
You
one.
can be a little tired. That's fine.
So you wake up to a relatively distant noise, but one you are entirely, wholly, and completely unfamiliar with. It is one that sounds out of place to your very quiet life. Most of the time you are hearing just the wildlife in the woods, your typical farming noises, maybe some animals, and the occasional visitor. You do have local friends who will come every couple months, or a couple times a month rather, to hang out, drink, and the like, and you can hear them coming on their speeder. This sound sounds like a speeder, but it sounds a bit distant and a bit higher pitched than normal. I'm curious if your character would know what this sounds like, because you've only lived on the farm. Have you ever gone to... Yeah, you've gone to Dantoon Town. Yeah, I am going to say your character, it takes a minute. It takes a minute from hearing the noise to register what that sound is, because it's so different. You've heard the sound close up before, and very, very rarely. But for how far away it is and how kind of quiet it is, it wakes you up. It is the definitive scream of a TIE fighter. You know how TIE fighters sound? Like,
Yeah.
It sounds distant. You can hear it. It doesn't sound like it's directly overhead, but it does sound closer than it should be.
Okay. I look out the window.
You see trees upon trees upon trees. Make me... It's still dark out. Make me another perception check, please.
Absolutely.
So you did not succeed, but you got an advantage, which you can roll over to make a bonus. You don't see anything. It's too dark. There's too many trees on Dantooine. It's a very forested character. A very forested planet, rather. And while you can probably figure out where the direction it's coming from is, there you can't see anything. There's no visuals.
I'm gonna wake up Uncle Jonas.
Sure. So you pop out of bed and run over to his door, and you start knocking on it, presumably.
Yeah. Uncle Jonas, something weird.
You knock and you say that through the door, and you don't hear anything.
I open the door.
Hit the button. Shick, opens up. Lights on, and his bed is empty.
Shit.
His belongings are mostly there, but his clothing is missing, and with a quick glance, you don't notice anything really too different about his bedroom. You can spend some time and search the room and see if there's anything like notably missing that you would be like, oh, he always has this or he always has that. Or you can just
I'd like to search the room.
All right, make me let me just bring that down. A perception check, please. I'm going to give you 1 blue dice for the advantage on the last roll.
I did it
That's
already.
fine.
Do I need to redo it?
Go ahead and reroll
Sorry.
it. You're good. You're good. 3 successes. Cool, so we'll get rid of that now. So you're rummaging through his room. You're like, I know he always has a knife here for self-defense. You rip the drawer open. The knife is missing. So he probably has his knife on him. You also look around. It does look like while it looks like he got up hastily, it doesn't look like he left anything behind that he would normally have kept on his person. It seems like he left prepared for whatever he's doing.
I'm going to go outside.
Sure. You run outside. Like the door flies open, the light of the build of your house just barely lighting the farm area that's outside you, and in the distance you can see a silhouette of a man. It definitely looks similar to the outline of what your uncle looks like. Also, yeah, we can edit your character real quick and just give her name, Cora. There you go. Boom, Cora.
All right.
You definitely see a silhouette at the edge of the farm, relatively shaped like your uncle. You think it's your uncle, and you don't see any other silhouettes over there.
I'm gonna make darn sure that's my uncle before I approach.
Okay, what do you want to do?
Kind of get closer and like try to really strain my eyes and see.
Okay, so
I
you want
guess.
to make like a stealth check?
Yeah, I guess sure.
Sure. So you have stealth. It is going to be I'll give you it'll be normal difficulty, so feel free to roll your stealth.
It didn't
All right.
succeed.
You did not succeed. So I am going to make a perception check, kind of rivaling that to see if he
Yep.
rolls well enough to see you. Oops, I need NPC rolls. That's right here. Perception. Oh, that's really high. Okay, there we go. Really? Oh, that's because yeah. Okay, cool. He fails. He does not turn around or seem to notice you. So you get close enough where you can make another perception check at a lesser difficulty.
Let's do it.
You rolled. Yeah, let's go down to 1. You may make your perception check. Oh, you succeeded with flying colors. It definitely looks like your uncle, and his head is slightly tilted up, and he looks like he's looking to the skies.
Okay, I'm gonna call it Uncle Jonas.
His head snaps back. What are you doing out here?
I woke up to the weird. Is that a TIE fighter?
He like motions like quiet. Like, yeah, they've been flying around for the past hour or so.
Well, what is it? What's happening?
Shakes his head. Couldn't tell you. TIE fighters usually don't fly this close to this area. They usually, when they flew around here, stuck close to Dantu Town. I have no idea why they're here. He's like
Do you have
looking
a
up,
radio?
kind of not looking at you at all. Definitely a look of fear plastered across his face. Nervousness, maybe fear is a bit too strong of a word, but definitely looks a little noticeably worried. What'd you say?
Do we have a radio on the farm?
To each other, yeah. Do you want to talk to Dantu
get
Town?
news or anything?
Oh yeah. He eventually will. Like he basically to get news. Your uncle goes to Dantu Town and uses the HoloNet there. You don't have the HoloNet in your little farm.
Okay.
The HoloNet, by the way, is Star Wars internet. That's all
Okay.
it is.
right.
Yeah, and the only thing that he has when he wants to get news is he'll go into town for it. So
All right,
his eyes continue to gaze, and you can, as you're out here and talking with him, you'll hear multiple TIE fighters kind of scream by, sometimes directly above you, sometimes off in the distance. There is definitely multiple TIE fighters here.
What do we do? Should we go check on the neighbors? Like, what should we do, Uncle Jonas?
He looks back to you. He's like, "Your backpack's packed.
Yeah, it's packed.
Go get it."
I go get it.
Okay, so you like run into the house,
Yeah.
grab it as quickly as you can. Anything that you would want to grab from the farm before leaving this place?
Picture of Uncle Jonas.
Absolutely.
And then all the stuff that's in my bag, which
Clothing, your gear, the things that you bought yesterday,
Yeah.
character creation for the most
Yes.
part. But yeah, I was talking like any sentimental stuff you wanted to grab and a picture of your uncle. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I know, chat. You gotta remember, chat, Star Wars is a fantasy setting first, sci-fi second. We're talking a place where magic exists and wizards with laser swords exist. Like, Star Wars is fantasy. It is sci-fi after that. So yeah, think about it. Luke Skywalker, he lived on a farm. He didn't have shit. He was dealing with fucking Jawas to buy droids. Okay, so you come running back out, and Jonas is already currently working on the speeder. It's one of those typical, I forget what they're called. They're called land speeders. They're like the U-shaped speeder, has 2 seats. Remember the vehicle Luke rode in with in episode 4? It's that.
do.
It's all beaten up, but he's currently working on it to get it fixed up.
Okay.
He hears you coming. I'm assuming you're not being stealthy, and he motions to the passengers. He's like, "Get in. We're getting out of here."
All right. I'm scared.
He jumps in and starts the speeder up, and it lifts off the ground with kind of a jostle. This thing isn't, in its prime anymore. And he kind of just thrusts it forward at full throttle, hitting the dirt road that's not far, and he just takes off at a speed that you have not seen him use a speeder before. He looks over to you and he's like, "And you're sure your mother hasn't contacted you at all?"
Not for months.
I don't know why they would be here. We haven't seen the Empire here since the rebellion, and you were but a baby when that thing came to a close for the most part. You were maybe 6 or 7. If the Empire is here, or what's the remnants of the Empire at the very least is here, they can't be here for a good reason. I want to get you off this planet before this place goes to hell, and if I have to go, I'll go too. And he kind of kicks it up a notch, and you start ripping through. The trees are flying by you at a speed that you're not really comfortable with. This is not anything you've ever really experienced. The panic in his eyes, the dewy morning air is starting to come up as the sun starts to rise. You've been probably going on the speeder for about an hour, and typically it takes about 3 hours for you to get from the farm to Dantu town at your normal speed. You're more than halfway there at this point. Is there anything you wanted to talk to him about on this ride specifically before I cut to the next happening?
No, I think that she'd be too scared to say anything.
Yeah, how is Cora feel? Is she like panicking right now?
She's terrified. She's never seen Uncle Jonas like this, that's for sure. And like he's usually kind of jovial and like collected, if anything. So it's weird to see him freaking out.
Okay. So you're ripping through this place. You're maybe 15 minutes out from Dantu town. Again, he's actually a much better pilot than you ever expected him to be. I know I keep hammering it home, but you've never seen him drive this fast. You've never seen him this worried. And he seems to be piloting this thing with a skill you didn't think he had as just a farming guy. It's before long, as you feel maybe a little relaxation coming in. You can see the lights of Dantu town way off in the distance, kind of rising above the heavy, thick forested area of Dantooine, before all of a sudden blaster shots come flying out of the woods towards you two. And they go whizzing overhead, just like those orange and red blaster shots, accompanied by that trademark blaster noise.
Yeah.
And they go ripping by. Without even hesitation, Uncle Jonas has his hand on the back of your head and quickly pushes you down to get under, not in a dirty way. Down.
No, I'm just like, Uncle Jonas, is it gonna be okay?
He quickly shoves your head down to duck, and you see him fumbling to get something out of the back seat. And he's like, "Keep your head down and don't get up. I don't need my niece dying on me."
Okay.
He fumbles for just a few minutes as more blaster bolts are going by, and he's kind of keeping his head down. He's got one hand on the steering wheel. And eventually, he's like, "There, fucking found it!" And he pulls out a blaster, a holdout blaster, a very small blaster.
Blaster?
And he doesn't respond. And he actually just kind of, as he's head down, he kind of leans over and just starts taking pot shots in the directions the blaster fire is coming.
How have you had that? We could have used that on all the varmints. What are you doing? Why didn't I know you had this?
Can you please, on all the varmints I like, can you please make me a perception check in this chaos as blaster bolts are firing from the woods and he's firing back? Hang on, let me just make sure it's set. So it's going to be a hard difficulty. Please make me a perception roll.
Okay, one sec. Let me get there.
You fail, but you got a bunch of advantages. So the next roll that you have will have a couple of blue dice. Okay. Or you can just say you can do something narratively with it if you'd like.
No, I want to save it for
okay.
rainy day.
You're gonna bank it. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he keeps firing wildly and doesn't respond to your inquiries at all. And this goes on for a good 2 minutes, but those 2 minutes feel like an eternity. You have never been under fire before. You have never seen violence happen outside of having to put an animal down that was sick, or like you said, fending off varmints on your farm that come in to graze on your crops. And that's, to you, that's nothing. That's everyday life. But you have never been in a situation where somebody has been shooting at you and you're panicking. This is fear-inducing. But Uncle Jonas while he seems worried, he seems oddly still in control. He's still piloting this thing without. Yeah, he's still piloting this thing well enough with how he's keeping down, and he's multitasking and firing back. Unlikely that he's hitting anything, but he's still doing it in hopes that maybe it's going to distract the shots. Those 2 minutes, like I said, crawl by in an eternity. The life seems like it's about to end for you, and you've never been met with life-ending consequences ever before all of a sudden Uncle Jonas slams on the emergency brake. The speeder comes to a screeching halt. Your head bumps up against the front because you're ducked down, enough to hurt but not enough to knock you out, and you just hear him mumble to him, "Fuck."
Are you hit?
He gestures like peek up.
Okay, I peek up.
Down the dirt road, just a good while out, you can actually see a roadblock set up. You see figures standing in the distance and definitely a couple of speeder bikes out there.
Is that them?
He sighs. He actually grabs your hand and puts the holdout blaster firmly in it, and then kind of closes your hand around it and just kind of pushes it back to you. And he's like, "Don't lose that.
Well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Talk to him." And he kind of kicks open the door and steps out
Well, I'm
with his
coming
hands
with
out
you.
like this. He turns to you, he's like, "Stay in the goddamn speeder, Cora."
Okay.
As he walks out and you look at the holdout blaster, you actually notice something on the holdout blaster that was really hard to see when he was firing it, but now when looking at it, you can see it pretty clearly. There's an engraving on it. It's all scratched up and worn out over the many, many years, but it is distinctly that of the rebellion symbol. That little
Jonas
winged
got
thing.
moves.
And
He's got history.
and he again, you weren't able to notice it when he was firing because it's too chaotic, but now that it's there, you see it and puts the gears in motion a little bit for Cora. He stands up and his hands are raised, and he walks a good 100 feet away before you hear him say anything. And even then, when you hear him speak, it's too muffled. You don't really know what he's saying. You know this
Oh, I'm
conversation.
getting out of this speeder right now.
Oh, you
I'm
are?
getting out. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm getting out. And I'm
What's the plan?
Probably try to be sneaky. Try to be
Okay.
sneaky. If not, I'll be able to talk my way out of things. But
So
I'm gonna.
Cora gets out of the speeder. What is the first thing she does? Does she stay on the dirt road? Do you go into the forest? What do you...
Into the forest. Yeah.
Okay, and what are you trying to do? Get close enough to
Get
see?
closer to listen. Yeah.
Okay, cool. The forest is definitely going to help, and you're going to get 2 extra blue die for the
Okay.
amount of advantages you rolled. So please go ahead and make me a stealth check as you approach.
Okay. Do you need to add the dice? Did you already?
All set. I took care of it. You're good.
Okay,
Go
cool.
for it. Make that roll. You fail.
Okay.
Ah, that is such a bad roll. I love
This
it.
is more Doxy luck than Cora luck. What the hell?
So you make your way maybe like by the time you get into the woods and you start clambering over, there's a ton of brush, underbrush, there's a ton of trees and the like. There's a lot of things for you to accidentally step on and make noise, basically. And while you are adept at walking through all this madness and mess, for you, you're too nervous, you're too scared. Things
Yeah,
are not
yeah.
what you're used to. So you make it about halfway up to where your uncle is before you step on a classic cliche twig that goes crack, and all of a sudden, whatever conversation was happening stops. Your uncle doesn't look back, but you see one of the figures make a motion with his hands, and you see what are very clearly stormtroopers. 3 of them start heading in your direction.
All right. I'm gonna climb.
You're gonna try and climb a tree.
I'm gonna try to climb a tree and hide.
Fantastic. Okay, so that for you is going to be an athletics check.
God.
I'm going to leave it at a normal difficulty because you've lived in the woods. I'm sure climbing trees is normally easy for you. However, you're stressed out, so we'll
I
make
also
it
have decent brown and agility. Just throwing that out there. I'm just
yeah,
throwing that out
for
there.
sure. Yeah, your athletics check is not terrible. So feel free to go ahead and make me an athletics check as you desperately attempt to climb this tree. You succeed. Fantastic. Now,
Okay.
you want to climb it quietly as well, presumably.
Yeah.
So we're going to take those 2 advantages, we're going to roll them over, and make them a blue dice, and I'm going to have you make me a stealth check as you're climbing. So you successfully climbed the tree. The question is,
Okay.
do they hear you climbing the tree or not?
Okay.
It is morning, the sun was rising, poetry, as I was saying. The sun was rising, so there is sunlight at this point for the ride. So you fail, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do.
You're climbing up, and again, you're not all there. You're panicking too much. It is too much for you. And as you're climbing, you just kind of hit something that falls out of the tree, and it thunks. And you see the 3 stormtroopers start jogging their way over there. And one of them, through their helmet is like, "Whoever's up that tree, cut down now, and you will not be harmed." I don't know if you heard what I said. I can repeat it.
Yeah, you should.
Okay.
Sorry.
I said, whoever's up in that tree, come down from there and you will not be harmed.
All right, I climb down
Oh,
begrudgingly.
so you just begrudgingly climb down.
Yeah.
The three stormtroopers have, as they see you climbing down the tree, they kind of finish up their jog. One takes the lead and steps forward. The kind of clacking of his armor, the stormtrooper armor against the brushes, one that you won't soon forget, as he keeps his gun rather inches from you, his finger, near the trigger, ready to pull it at a moment's notice. He looks to you, and then one of the two in the back turn back. Is like, we got one over here. Try to hide in the tree. And then the one in front actually says, turn around and like put your hands up against the tree. Two advantages equal one blue, chat. Two advantages.
First, I'm gonna try to get a good sight on Uncle Jonas and see that he's okay.
He is still standing there. Okay, hands up. They haven't moved. He hasn't moved.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna put my hands up. Put my hands up.
One starts to pat you down, basically looking to take anything off of you that he can. Did you leave the blaster in the car, or did you take it with you?
I had it with me.
Okay, cool. He actually grabs you. I assumed your knives were in your backpack. Am I correct in that, or am I incorrect?
You're incorrect. They're always
always on you. All right, cool. So he pats you down and quickly pulls the holdout blaster off of you and tosses it on the ground. And then, as he's pulls out both of the. Actually, let's make a perception check for those.
Okay.
The gun was in your hand. That's not. He doesn't have to make a perception check for that.
Right.
But he's gonna make a perception check to see if he finds those knives on you. They're not like, you don't have them in a place that's technically quote unquote hidden, right?
No,
they're just in a pocket. Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm gonna make normal difficulty check for him.
Looks like I'm gonna need to get a harness though.
He succeeds. However, there's a disadvantage on that. So he succeeds. He grabs the knives, and he actually takes both of those knives and hands them to one of the stormtroopers behind him. It seems in the mess, as he walks you off, he forgets the gun was back there, and he leaves it on the ground where he tossed it. And it's something you notice easily.
Is there a way for me to kick it toward Uncle Jonas? How close am I to him?
If you kick it, so you could kick it towards him. The chance of you're probably like 50 feet away from where he is at this point.
Oh,
and if you kick it towards him, if with a really good roll, you could probably make it enough where he'd get it. However, you would immediately be instigating combat with at least three armored stormtroopers and one Imperial officer, from what you can tell.
Okay. I'm gonna kick the gun to Uncle Jonas.
All right. Interesting decision. You are a wild girl. All right.
I'm brave.
I like it. I'm not complaining. Do what you got to do. So the plan for you then is, as he turns you around to make you walk, you're gonna just go for as you spin around and see the gun, you're gonna go and just try and kick it towards him then. Mm-hmm. That for you is going to be, what is this gonna be? What kind of roll is this gonna be?
Coordination.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was probably going to be a coordination roll. Yeah, to hit
it. Take athletics if you prefer.
A coordination is it's an agility roll, which is that's what athletics is too. It's why is coordination for you worse off than athletics?
I don't know.
There has to be a reason, and I'm just not seeing it right now. All right, this is going to be difficult. This is going to be a hard roll for you. There's a lot of brush. You're surrounded by 3 stormtroopers. This is not going to be easy. You're welcome to make the roll when you're ready to do so.
Okay, coordination?
Yep.
Let's go.
You actually... Wait, you had a blue dice in there, but it didn't matter. It doesn't matter because the success didn't come from the blue dice. It came from the green dice. So you're good. It's fine. You somehow succeeded. And with a really swift kick, one that the stormtroopers were not ready for, you kind of bring your right leg back and just smack the gun. It gets airborne a little bit, kind of lands on the dirt and skids towards your uncle's feet, stopping like maybe a few inches away. Like an impeccable kick. The stormtroopers are caught off guard, and before they can actually open fire, you actually hear for the first time the officer's voice shout, "Hold your fire! She has no idea what she's doing." Make me a perception check, please. You want to take that as strain?
Yep.
Okay.
Done.
Okay. You know that voice.
Why do I know that voice?
You don't know. You can't place it,
Okay.
but you know the voice. And you're as the. You also see your uncle ends up not reaching for the gun, and he keeps his hands up.
What?
And as you're being marched out by the stormtroopers out of the woods, you actually see the officer take very slow, arrogant steps towards that pistol, and bends over to pick up the pistol itself. He examines it a little bit in front of his face. He chuckles. And he's like, "That's adorable. Relic from the past, old man." And then he pockets it like behind him into his belt. And he looks up, and then he looks over to you, and his eyes lock on you. And then he goes, "Two relics from the past, then." And you recognize the face of your father. And we'll take a break here. First break of the night. We will return with see what happens next as Doxy comes face to face with someone she hasn't seen in about 20 years. Just about. There and abouts. Maybe a little less. We'll see you guys in a few minutes. Go take a break. Go get a drink. We'll be back. All right, on time. Thank you for the good luck bit, Silencio Steve. Appreciate it, man.
Those are for Cora, right?
Yeah, she needs them. She needs the good luck.
She definitely needs it.
She's having a rough go to start. That's fair, though. It's fair. All right. So we opened up. We left off with your father. And the only reason you know it's your father, again, to be more specific for chat, because you and I know, but they don't, is because while you don't have any physical memory of your father, it doesn't mean that occasionally there isn't a photo or two, family photo buried somewhere that you've been able to dig up, or maybe your mother, when you were talking to her, if you're ever curious what your dad looked like, she sent you a picture of him, and you know, or a holographic message that she got from him. So you know his voice and you know his face. You just never have seen it in person outside of, you know, being an infant or, you know, a little kid before you were dropped off at this farm and left here.
Brand new baby, yeah.
But oh, baby. So yeah, so he smirks and looks to you, and like I said, the last thing that came out of his mouth was two remnants of the past I see. Jonas looks to you a little side-eyed. His arms are still very much in the air. Do you have a name for your father? I know you do, but I can't remember.
It's Callow.
Callow?
Mm-hmm.
So Jonas actually just looks up to Callow and he's like, "What do you want, Callow?" And he smiles like, "Where is she? Where is she gone?" And Jonas just kind of shrugs like, "No idea what you're talking about." And without hesitation, Callow just immediately, as he was looking at the blaster, uses the holdout blaster, points it at your uncle's leg, and just fires. And your uncle's leg gets kicked out from under him, a big burn mark where the blaster shot hits. He grits, but seems to take the pain very, very well, and just goes, "Ugh!" and just kind of drops down to one knee. And he kind of grits his teeth, breathing very, "I told you. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Callow. I don't know where she is." Callow takes a couple steps forward and levels the holdout blaster with no space right against the forehead of your uncle. And just,
don't hurt him.
And he looks over. With that, like as the muzzle gets pushed into his forehead, you shout, "Don't hurt him." And he just tosses a glance over to you. Callow does. He's like, "Or what, little one? What are you gonna do? Swing at me with your big bad fists? Teach me how to farm? Go ahead. Tell me."
There's not much I can do, but this man is more of a father to me than you will ever be.
Well, I shouldn't have been a father in the first place, if I'm honest. It's not really my calling in life. I'm meant to take life, not give it. I have talents.
I would like to look around for any kind of opportunity to do anything.
Absolutely. So he keeps the muzzle just kind of pressed in. You look around. You know what? Give me a perception check. 1 second. Let me make sure I've got everything leveled out properly here. I think it's perception. Yeah, give me a perception check, please.
I have done this thing.
Oh, I didn't see it pop up. There it is. So you succeeded. So you look around, and it's very clear that the stormtroopers have you surrounded. They all have their blaster rifles leveled at the two of you, as they typically should.
How many are there?
There's the three of them. Just the three of them. And then the officer, obviously your father, is the fourth. The knives are on the stormtrooper that took them, and he's got them, you know, he's going to be a little bit difficult to get to. The only thing you can see right now, the only thing that Cora can think of right now is to either go along with it and see where it goes, or, I mean, your uncle is right next to you. You could attempt to kind of like knock the gun out of your father's hand and hope that something good comes out of it, and that the stormtroopers don't just immediately open fire on the three of you. Cora's not stupid. She's a dead average intelligence. So she knows the risks associated with the action of trying to maybe turn on an Imperial officer. However, if you look to your uncle for any sign of like, should I do it or should I not?
Yeah, that's the plan.
He's too much in pain, and his eyes are too locked on a facial expression you've never seen on him before. Burning hatred. Just an absolute hatred of what he's looking at is what your uncle looks like.
Okay. Um, God, I have to keep my uncle from getting killed, but
So while you're thinking, while this is happening, and you're taking stock of the situation, Callow again buries the muzzle into his forehead and just kind of presses his head back enough, and your uncle looks up with his teeth gritted still, and like I said, that burning hatred in his eyes.
okay. I'm gonna say we haven't heard from her in months.
So he the pressure being pushed into your uncle's forehead lessens a little. The holdout blaster is still touching his forehead. It's still leveled at him directly, but that pressure is definitely noticeably alleviated. And he's like, oh, at least one of you's listening, willing to talk. Explain. When was the last thing you heard about her? Where was she?
That she was making you dinner. That's it.
See, she picked up some habits from the Empire after all. She wasn't making me dinner. I haven't seen that woman in a year or two.
Where was the last time you saw her?
In a base somewhere. Passed by in the hallway. Gave our pleasantries, but your mother was more sentimental than she should have been. She got too attached. So when I... Doesn't matter. Where was she? Coruscant? Do you know? Did she tell you?
It was the same background as usual.
Doesn't tell me anything. If there's one thing the Empire is particularly bad at, it's decorating. So any Imperial base is more or less looks the same. That's fine. Then he looks to the uncle. Is she telling the truth, old man? He grits his teeth and just kind of spits on the floor. And Callow takes a step forward and again pushes the muzzle into his head. Listen, I've taken lives 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more valuable than a retired rebel soldier gone farmer boy on Dantooine. Put a bullet in your head or a blaster shot in your head ain't gonna give me any issues, and I won't lose any sleep on it. So I'll ask you one more time, is she telling the truth? You see him, again, just take a deep breath. Yeah, that's the last time she heard from her. Callow looks to you. So what should I do with them, daughter of mine?
Let him go.
Let him go, and then what? What were you two in such a hurry for? Why were you flying to Dantu Town? If you haven't heard from her in a couple months, why the rush to leave?
Why the ruckus on Dantu Town?
Oh, it's not Dantu Town specifically, it's just the nearest starport. We're just looking for you.
Why?
Are you that thick? Looking for your mother. And I know she liked to contact
What I
you.
know. Let my uncle go and farm.
He looks to the leg and he's like, I don't think he's going to be farming anytime in the near future, at least not effectively.
Oh, golly. I don't know where she is. I can check for messages. That's the best I can do. Let my uncle go.
I'll tell you what. I'll make a deal. You want for bargaining, talking? You clearly have an attachment to this man. He's taken care of you since you were but a baby, so it makes sense. I'll let him live. He can seek the medical attention he needs and get back on his feet as soon as he can, and I'll make sure I give him the credits necessary. He'll live the rest of his life rotting away on this backwater world. But you come with me.
Deal. It's a deal.
Good. Hear that, Jonas? She's the one that sees some sense after all. Jonas still doesn't say anything. He looks mad, but he doesn't say anything. You see him, the holdout blaster muzzle gets pulled off. There's a nice red indentation where that blaster muzzle was. Clearly a little bit of a burn from the heat left over from the first shot that went into your uncle's leg. And he puts it behind his back. He's like, I'll be keeping this if you don't mind. He pulls out a data pad and he starts doing something. And he's like, all right. Turns it off, puts it back into his belt. I've given you the credits necessary to take care of that leg, but only that leg and only that amount. You can get back to your farming. Little Cora, was it? She'll be coming with us. He actually makes a
My
head
uncle,
nod.
by the way. I'm gonna
Huh?
hug him. I'm gonna hug him.
You go to hug him, and a stormtrooper just jams a rifle into your back and doesn't let you, and pushes you a few steps forward. He's not allowing, without giving you no choice but to walk forward, and be walked towards their speeders.
Okay.
The stormtroopers.
I'll be needing my things.
He gestures for one of the stormtroopers. Stormtrooper goes and grabs it.
And I'll be taking my knives back.
No. Let's not get demanding, Cora. We've only just met. We'll worry about your knives later. Wouldn't want you to get any sharp ideas. He winks.
What am I gonna do against all of you?
Listen.
I want my knives.
You're scared. You're angry. You're irrational. Animals backed into a corner tend to act irrationally. You could try and go for my jugular and you could kill me. Doesn't mean that the stormtroopers won't kill you after, but you might not care that much. And I value my life over yours, if I may. So you're gonna get into the speeder. We're gonna take care of things for you. So one of the three stormtroopers actually marches himself back, grabs a backpack out of the speeder, like gestures, like, "Is this it?" To you. You nod. He then kind of slings it over his back and starts walking. Kind of gives a little bit of a shove to your uncle to kind of get him off balance, just to be a dick. And then gets into the speeder with a different speeder than the one you're in. You're putting the main speeder. It's the speeder that you're looking at is Imperial make. It's actually kind of like more of a car than anything. It's sleek, can fit one person in the driver's seat, and then it's kind of shaped in like a long way like this. It has a roof over its head, so it'll be like the driver here, stormtrooper here, and then you in the back over here. That's kind of gets you guys filed in. The door shuts and locks, and the inside of the speeder is more technologically advanced than you've seen pretty much anywhere. Even Dan 2, while it has cantinas and it has, HoloNet access and stuff, it's still a lot of old technology being kept around by engineers with spare parts. A lot of Dan 2's technology is still kind of falling apart, and wires are sticking out, and things are always malfunctioning. This is pristine. It is cleaner than anything you have ever seen on this planet, and this is the only planet you've ever known. You've never gone off-world before. And the noises and stuff are kind of high-pitched and beeping. It's all very fancy and very almost interesting if you weren't scared that you were about to get killed. The officer, your Kahlo, actually stays outside the speeder for a little bit. Waits for all the other stormtroopers to pile in and take off before he puts a foot in, thinks for a minute, takes his foot out, looks to Kahlo, who is now standing up but walking with a limp, and then pulls the holdout blaster out again. He looks at it. He looks at it. It's like, well, 1 out of 2 promises ain't bad. Levels it at your uncle and blasts a shot. Takes out his other leg. Your uncle collapses to the ground. Now, 2 very injured, maybe usable, maybe not, legs. And he's like, I did promise. Keep her alive. I'd keep you alive, old man. And I'd repair one of your legs. Still got enough to take care of one of your legs. Hopefully your medical experience from the war will help you take care of the second one. That's for taking what ain't yours. And then he steps in to the speeder, and the door shuts. The speeder lifts, and it turns, and with a force much like Euro speeder but much smoother, it just takes off towards the town, leaving your uncle standing crippled, lying in the dirt behind you.
I'm so angry.
Do you just ride in silence?
No,
Okay.
no, I have questions.
You start kicking the chair, motherfucker.
First of all, he didn't take me. I was given him by my mother, who you love.
Do you say that out loud?
Yes.
And he actually lets out like your typical evil guy laugh. And he's like, what makes you believe any of what you just said is damn true?
Dude, talking to my mother, talking to my uncle.
And your mother said that she was making me dinner that night, didn't she?
Why do you all of a sudden care about my mother if you haven't seen her in a year? Why tonight? Why right now?
None of that matters to you, girl. You're just a bargaining chip for me. That's it.
What does that mean?
Means I'm going to use you for what I need you for, get what I want, and then dump you at the nearest civilization from whatever planet we're on.
What's gonna happen to my uncle?
I don't know. I don't care. With
I
any
care.
luck, he'll die. But I'm not going to go back and finish him. I'm not going to waste my time.
All right, now it's silence.
Okay, just the whole ride.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brooding daughter.
Oh.
Back of car.
All right. So the rest of the ride, he doesn't say a word to you. Occasionally, he'll say something on the radio to presumably other remnants of the Empire, as it were, until you eventually come to Dantu Town. Now, Dantu Town is not a long ride. You were maybe 5 or 10 minutes out. It took you about 15 to 20 minutes to get there because he wasn't speeding like your uncle was. But you were not far out. Oh, hey Maggie, in the Blade and Soul on the Blade and Soul account. Nice. So you get to Dantu Town, no problem. And you go through Dantu Town in the speeder. You don't get out until you actually are at the starport. Now the starport is small and rinky-dink and can only hold maybe a max of 5 ships at any given time. However, the amount of ships that come to Dantu Town are so minimal that 5 spots is more than enough. And as you are kind of ushered out of the speeder, you are surrounded by a whopping 6 stormtroopers. There were others waiting here for his return. You see your father as you are ushered out, and you are kind of put up against the wall of the starport with a guard of 2 stormtroopers by each of your side. The others kind of march, and they're talking to Callow, very, very, very hush hush, in a way where you can't hear them. You're not sure what they're saying. You do see him hand the holdout blaster to one of the stormtroopers, and you do know which stormtrooper has your knives and the like. Eventually, Callow makes his way over to you, as you've been probably sitting against the wall of the starport for a while. To give you an idea of what this town looks like, by the way, and the kind of atmosphere that Dantu Town has, it is predominantly human. Eventually, every once in a while, you'll see an Ithorian walking around. You probably don't know what an Ithorian is, but they're those weird, like, almost slug-like looking aliens. They have, like, the T-shaped head with the 2 eyes at the top. If you Google Ithorian, you'll see what they look like.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
A few of those are walking around, but it's mostly humans. The town, while I say it houses thousands, it's really spread out. The town isn't packed like a Coruscant town with buildings side by side. Dantu Town is a sprawling farmer city in a weird way. All the buildings are run down. A lot of them have green moss growing up the sides, and a lot of the signs themselves, the lights aren't always working. Some of them are flickering. Some of the letters are out. There's a smell to this place that is like your farm multiplied by 3 or 4. It is very, there's banthas walking around, there's all kinds of farm animals walking around, and there's all kinds of farmers who set up their own little shops along Market Street where they're trying to hawk their food and their wares to whoever will buy to make them some extra money if they so choose. It's loud, but it's not like New York City loud. It's more like a busy buzz kind of happening around the town. So, hey, welcome back, Maggie, on the right account. So your father eventually meanders over to you, very much taking his time after about 30 minutes. And he's like, all right, you are going to get on that shuttle over there, and we're going to take you to the core worlds. You'll be locked up for however long I need you for until your mother decides she wants to talk to you again. We'll make things will be taken care of, and then I'll let you free. Listen, I'm not going to kill you. As much as I don't know you and clearly you don't like me, I'm not going to put a blaster bolt in your head. I have no interest in ending you. But I also have no use for you outside of what I need you for. So we'll get where you'll be secured. There'll be bed. You'll be given food regularly. You will be given outside time with a guard by your side at all times. And until all is said and done, that's going to be your life. It might be a little different from your typical everyday life. Hell, you might like it a lot more than your everyday life. Less work, more comfort. There'll at least be air conditioning. But that's what's going to be happening. Agree?
Fine.
Good. You're agreeable. You definitely weren't raised by your uncle very well then. Or maybe your uncle finally learned what obedience meant. Follow me. And he starts walking, and the clacking of his heels against the stone floor of the starport echoes in a way that most farmers' steps don't. Getting a good close look at him, he is pristine from head to toe. His uniform is that typical like darkish gray uniform that the Imperial officers have. He has those blue and red badges on his chest. He has that dumb little hat on that all Imperial officers have, and he walks with his arms behind his back whenever he's not using them to gesture and speak to you. He walks upright, proper, and the dude looks like he probably hasn't been laid since he joined the Empire. He is so uptight. And he walks his way through the starport, almost with his nose in the air, in a very snobby, shitty way. You are kind of pushed forward by the stormtroopers. You got 2 on your side and 1 on your back. And they eventually will lead you to what is known as a Lambda shuttle. You definitely have seen these shuttles before if you've watched Star Wars, the original trilogy. It's kind of the typical Empire transfer shuttles. You can look up Lambda shuttle if you want, just so you know what you're looking at and you have an idea of what to look for.
Yeah, I think I will.
Yeah, go ahead and do that right now. Hey, Empire Girl's like a stern, stiff, thorough man.
All right.
You know what? You get an idea of what a Lambda shuttle looks like? Yeah, it's pretty. It's common. You are shuffled in first, followed by the stormtroopers, and then you're followed by 2 stormtroopers in the back, and your father and the other stormtrooper head up to the pilot seat. And it's maybe 5 minutes before you're cleared for takeoff. And for the very, very first time, at least that you can remember, you are traveling in an interstellar flight. It's a weird sensation. The G-forces and like needed to take off or not, like, because it's sci-fi, it's not gonna, like, you don't need to be a fucking astronaut to handle it, but it's much faster and much more intense than anything you've ever experienced. As you break atmosphere and you look out the window, you see Dantu City grow smaller and smaller until it is nothing but a speck. The heat of passing through the atmosphere obscures your vision as the planet itself distances itself, and the red fiery flames of breaking the atmosphere kind of cover up the window for a while until you eventually break atmosphere, and below you is Dantooine. But Dantooine in a way you've never seen it before. Nothing but what looks like green landscape and continents mixed with water and swampy areas, all getting further and further away as it becomes a planet. You are seeing your home in space for the first time, and surrounding it in the void darkness of space is countless stars. It is awe-inspiring, even to the most hardened star traveler. This is a magnificent sight, and while the conditions in which you're experiencing this are less than ideal, it is still a magical moment, one way or another, for our dear Cora as she leaves.
All right, Cora's looking at the stars, and she's just kind of wondering how she's going to get out of this, let alone find her mom, especially if somebody as obviously powerful as her father can't seem to.
Yeah.
That's just what she's thinking about right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's very sad. She's thinking about...
I imagine, yeah, the look on her face is wide-eyed and depressed overall. Over time, you do hear some chatter coming from the cockpit of them talking to somebody. You don't know exactly the proper steps of interplanetary travel. It's not something you're used to, so you have no idea who they're talking to. But before long, the stars as you get further and further away from Dantooine, you can actually see the entirety of Dantooine as a planet. Eventually, you do see you hear a whirring of an engine that is louder and more powerful than the engine that took you out of the atmosphere. And eventually the stars before you start to streak and stretch before, with a loud clap, you are shot into hyperspace. And this kind of blue aura surrounds you for a while before you just see stars and stuff streaking by you as little specks as you do enter hyperspace. You probably know that that's what hyperspace is. I mean, you're educated in a farmer girl way in a sci-fi setting, so you know how star travel works. You just never experienced it before, nor do you know what it looks like. And I'm sure the clap of that hyperdrive kind of kicking in maybe made your character jump just a little bit because it was so surprising. You've never really
sick or something.
Possibly, it's possible that you're feeling a little sick as well. Hyperdrive sickness or whatever, I think actually is a thing, at least in the older rule systems. I'm not sure if it's a thing in this rule system specifically. So for you, I know which way you're traveling. Your character probably does not, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. But I just want to find it. The way hyperspace travel works in this game for you, not Maggie. Your name is Mallory, which is the reason I almost called you Maggie.
Yeah.
Hyperspace travel works in this game is typically there are safe trade routes to get from planet to planet within systems, and if you ever go off of those, you're likely to get hit by a pirate of some sort. However, you do know that you are being tailed by a few TIE fighters as well. So whatever way they're going, you're likely going to be safe with TIE fighters following you. Now, TIE fighters... No, I lie. I apologize. I'm incorrect. You are not followed by the TIE fighters. The TIE fighters escort you into the atmosphere, and then when the Lambda shuttle takes and hits a hyperdrive, the TIE fighters don't follow. That is something that you would notice. But you are still surrounded by 3 stormtroopers and the like. After you hit hyperspace, a few minutes pass before your father gets out of the seat, and the door to the cockpit opens, and he walks into the back and takes a seat a little bit of a distance from you, and he plops himself facing you, maybe a good 3 feet. Yeah, only one TIE fighter has hyperdrive, exactly, Arctic Tiger, I forgot. He pops himself right in front of you, and he kind of like crosses his feet below him, and he just kind of crosses his arms and leans back a little bit and just kind of looks at you. Not in an angry way, not I want to kill you or I'm an annoyed way, but more of a curious fashion. He just kind of looks you up and down, and just kind of, it seems to be assessing you, if you were to take a wild guess.
Mm-hmm.
Do you say anything, or just kind of, do you even look at him back? Do you say anything? Do you just look out the window and ignore him? I'm curious what your character's mindset is.
What do you even want right now?
How many times are you going to ask before you realize you're not going to get the answer?
I just don't like you looking at me.
Last I saw you, you were birthed. And even then, it was only through a few holographic photos. I never was there for when you were born. I was too busy taking care of things. But you do look like your mother.
How are you going to find her?
I'm just hoping she's going to come looking for you eventually.
I mean, if she hasn't spoken to me in months, then what makes you think that she's even safe?
It wouldn't be the first time she's not spoken to somebody that she knows for months, especially if she's still active within the Empire. She might have gotten busy. Do you even know what's happening in the core worlds, girl?
I have no idea what's happening in the core worlds. I don't care about the core worlds.
It's a good attitude to have. Too bad you had to shack up with your uncle who cares more than he likes to let on. You know the war is over, at least for now.
Okay.
I'm assuming you know that.
Yeah.
Well, the Empire isn't exactly gone, clearly. We still have power, we still have influence in certain areas. It's just we lost a few of our holdings. The problem with the Empire, at least currently, is without a head, everyone and their mother is trying to be the one that takes over. I'm not sure your mother specifically is working for the people I'm working for. I just want to know where she is.
Same.
Good. Then hopefully one of us will get what we want.
Well, wouldn't it be easier if we worked together at this instead of me being locked away?
Listen, I've been doing this for longer than you've been alive. I let you do it and tell you you're going to work with me. Doesn't mean that at every opportunity, at every chance you get, at any weak moment you see, you'll try and flip things in your favor. I don't want to find her so you can be reunited with your mother again. I could give a shit about that. I just want to know where she is and who she's working for.
You have my weapons.
Yep, I do.
You have armor.
I certainly
You
do.
have men.
That too.
There is nothing that I can do to flip things in my favor.
And that's how we're going to keep it. We're not going to work together. I'm not going to give you say in what's going to happen here. That's not how this works.
I didn't ask for say. Just let me help find my mom.
No. I have the power. I have the influence. I call the shots. And listen, you're the easiest tool in my toolbox to get a hold of her. Doesn't mean you're the only tool in my toolbox. As it stands, I have much better, or much more important rather, things I need to take care of on top of this issue that I have. It's easier for me to lock you in a room and wait for her to come to me than me to go to her. But if worse comes to worse, and you cause me problems, I don't care if you're blood related. I'll put a bullet in your head, and we'll just end this whole thing, and I'll do things differently. You understand?
I just don't say anything.
Good. Good. then I imagine that you completely understand what I'm saying. Again, I don't want things to go that way. For all I care, you can live your life in that cell and die of old age. She never comes to find you. She never comes to find you. But if you give me any issues, things are going to be problematic. And I don't want things to be problematic. You do look like her, and I do have a fondness for your mother, one way or another, even if she's a pain in my ass. Now, he gestures and kind of relaxes his stance, his arms uncross as they kind of just fall to his side, and like he puts them on his legs, on his lap. Other than what I want with your mother, I'm sure you have questions, and I'd love to give you an answer to any of them if I can. We have time to kill. This is going to be a little bit of a trip here in space. Is it first time in space?
And just glare.
He actually kind of like locks eyes and almost tilts his head to see if he's... You know how people do that? They kind of like tilt their head to get a better look at you. You really going to do this? You don't want to talk? You don't want to answer questions answered? Listen, I could lie to you. I could give you flowery language. I could tell you all the wonderful things that'll happen to you, and I promise I won't kill you if you give me problems, and don't worry, you're going to live a wonderful life and you'll be free eventually, but I like to just tell things how it is. What's the point in lying? I'd rather you understand your situation as it is, adapt, accept it sooner rather than later, and we can both get along as best as we're going to get along. As opposed to telling you how wonderful your life is going to be, and the inevitable happens where you realize that's not how life is going to be, and then you'll be even more upset with me, causing more issues. I'm blunt. I'm honest, for the most part, but I'm blunt. I have no intentions of treating you like anything other than a first-class prisoner, but you are still my prisoner. If we can see equally there, then we can have an acquaintanceship of some sort. Is that funny to you? Sure. So am I going to get anything out of you? Do you have any questions you want to ask me? Would you like to sit for hours in silence and wait?
I think I'd like to sleep.
Well, if you can get comfortable in this chair, you're welcome to do so. What you're sitting in, by the way, I should have described it, is there's no real room to sleep as far as you is concerned. There's no bed for you. You're a prisoner. You are very much locked to a chair with like a chest strap, and your arms are kind of strapped down to the chair with like metal manacles that kind of come up magnetically from the seat, kind of lock you in place. So he smirks. He's like, if you can get comfortable, you're welcome to sleep. I won't bother you. I just figured maybe I'd give you a little insight as to your past or our past or who I am as a person, why I do what I do. But that's fine. If you want to be treated like a prisoner completely, I'm more than happy to take care of that. He kind of claps his hands on his lap and pushes himself up. He's like, if that'll be all, then... And he spins on his heels and walks back to the cockpit. The door opens, the door shuts, and then the green light next to it beeps and it flips to red. You can presume that means it's locked or something.
Yeah.
The stormtroopers, there's still the two stormtroopers there. The third stormtrooper stayed in the cockpit when he came out, and he still stayed in the cockpit afterwards. You are locked to the chair for the moment. Do you plan on just trying to sleep, or do you want to try and do you have any...
I'm assessing my situation.
You're okay, assessing your situation.
I want to look around for any kind of advantage I might have.
You really right out the gate, you don't really have...
Yeah, I'm locked to a chair.
Yeah, you don't really have an advantage, at least right now. You have your mouth, and you can speak. You're not gagged, and you're not muted in any way. And there are stormtroopers there, but as far as that's concerned, I'll leave it to the player as what she wants to do, if she wants to do anything. Or maybe she'll wait. She'll bide her time. What would you like to do?
Okay. I'm going to look at the closest stormtrooper, and I'm going to say, is he always like that?
The stormtrooper initially doesn't say anything. Do you want to continue trying to... What's your goal here? Do you want to try and, like, continue talking to the stormtrooper or the stormtroopers and maybe try and butter them up to get something out of them?
That's the plan.
Okay,
I want them to like me because I know that my dad is a lost cause. Like, he whatever, but like he's a brick wall.
Yep,
Is-
absolutely. So that's going to
There's
be
nothing I'm gonna be able to get through.
a
him.
charm roll for you.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it as a normal difficulty thing, but I'm going to use a dark side point.
Okay.
Oops, I need to use a dark side point. Oh, I clicked on your sheet. That's why. Use dark side point. Boom. So that'll even it out. And there's one light side and one dark side. And I am going to downgrade your roll for this.
Okay.
So you may make your. I hope I did it right. You will make.
I still have the
James,
exact
that's
same
cool.
dice.
Yeah. Hang on. Downgrade done. All right. You are welcome to make your charm roll.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
It downgraded. You still succeeded. So the little explosion, like the little thing, that means that's a success. The little like TIE fighter window is a disadvantage. It doesn't mean you failed or anything. But this is where you can take it as strain, or you can let me do what I want with it.
Okay.
Do you want to take it as strain? 'Cause you only have 2 strain right now. I mean, you might as well.
Okay, yeah, I will.
Yeah, you have a lot of strain. Yeah, I have it's incredibly unlikely that you're going to knock yourself out in exhaustion.
It's also kind of amazing that I don't have more given the situation.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, you haven't rolled too much and they haven't really fired on you or anything like that, so
Right.
you're fine. Okay, cool.
So is he always like that?
So eventually you're just kind of giving light conversation. You're just trying to butter him up. And yeah, eventually throw the question, so he's always like that. And then through his helmet, you actually hear him say, they're all kind of like that.
All?
Officers.
So what about my mom? Was she an officer?
He actually shrugs. He's like, I don't know what he's talking about. We're just assigned duty for him.
So how long have you worked for him?
I've worked with with Officer, what's your last name again? I apologize.
It's okay, Vale.
Vale. I've worked with Officer Vale, just a few times in my job. So.
How does he treat prisoners?
If it means anything, you're the nicest I've seen him treat prisoners ever.
Usually more like my Uncle Jonas then, huh?
Depends on what they're being captured for. Any ex-rebel is typically killed on the spot, so I'm surprised if your uncle's an ex-rebel. He's alive.
God, I don't know what to do.
Whatever you want. Welcome to D&D. Whatever you want.
Yeah, I know. I just I'm struggling here because I clearly I can't do anything besides charm these guys, and then.
Well, keep chatting with them and see what you want to do. Do you want I don't want to give you ideas. I want to just kind of see where you take it.
Yeah, I know, and I don't
mean?
want you to. I don't want to rely on the crutch.
But for right now, he seems open to at least chatting. He's not, he's not being like a super friendly guy, but he's also answering.
All right. Seduce him.
There's still another stormtrooper by near you as well, but he doesn't seem to care that you're talking.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I know it's a long shot.
Okay.
But I'm really uncomfortable and I really do want to sleep. Is there any chance that we could loosen my arms?
Oh, you want to try and get him to undo your magnetic strips. Mm-hmm. Now there's an idea. Okay. So you would like to try and coerce him. Yeah, it would be coercion. So your charm roll got him to talk to you. Okay. Now we're going to go to a coercion roll. Okay. You're not the greatest coercer in the world. However, it's not terrible. I would say I'm going to throw a black dice on there for the other stormtrooper. However, you have a -1 black die ability on all your coercion checks, so it nullifies the black dice immediately. You have a light side point if you would like to use one. It's up to you. You don't have to right now. You can save it.
Yeah, I'm gonna save it. Save.
So you're just gonna make a roll, and this is gonna be a hard roll.
Yep.
So it's gonna be versus 3 purple dice.
Okay.
So you are welcome to make your coercion check when you are ready. You fail, unfortunately.
God dang it.
Would you like to take those 2 disadvantages strain?
Yeah.
Go ahead. So basically, since you take the 2 disadvantages strain, you fail the trying to coerce him to loosen your bonds, but you haven't pissed him off in any way.
Okay.
So you ask him, like, could I, get comfortable? He kind of chuckles. He's like, if I do that, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble.
Can I get you to give me my knife back?
You want to make another, you want to try and roll for that, you're welcome to. That would be another coercion roll. That's going to be very difficult, but I'm going to leave it at 3 purple dice, but I'm going to throw in 2 black dice on that.
Why?
So 1 will be negated because you've already tried to coerce him to take your arms out, and he already said no. But now you're asking for a weapon while your arms are still pinned.
But my arms are pinned.
That's exactly. So what's the point of getting the knife, the combat knife? In his mind, he's like, why do you want it? So it's gonna be 2 black dice, 3 purple dice. If you'd like to make that roll.
Okay, we won't do it. We won't do it.
You can. No, it's not gonna. You can. You have a light side point.
I don't
want to
make him mad. I don't want to make him mad.
But you also understand that you're not gonna get killed. Your father doesn't want you dead. So you have that comfort there.
I just want to try to get out of this fucking seat and kill some stormtroopers right now.
I like the try. Do you want to use a force point? Do you want to try? You don't have to try. I just want you to. I want you to understand the situation that you're not likely to get shot.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna say to him. I'm gonna be like, I've had those knives for a long time. They're very sentimental to me, and I just feel naked without them. I don't like them, or I don't like not having them. Okay. They're merely farm tools.
Sure. You're welcome. Do you want to use a light side point or not?
No.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. There. It's waiting for you. You succeeded. You actually succeeded with 4 disadvantages.
Okay.
What would you like to do with those disadvantages? Would you like to take all 4?
I'm going to take 2 of them.
Okay. And you want me to roll with the other 2 myself?
Yeah.
All right. That's fine. So you kind of give him this plea. Please give me, like, they're memoirs, they're mine, they're my knives. I just would feel like it's a peace of mind for you.
Yeah.
In a way. It takes a little doing. He really is against the idea of giving you these knives in general because he knows that he's not supposed to. But he sighs and eventually relents. Under the condition that when you are released after this trip is over, there'll be no funny business and you won't tell the officer that you have them.
Absolutely.
All right. So he'll grab them. He's the one that has them. He pulls them out, and he kind of gestures like, "Where do you want them?"
Just back in my pocket. It's fine.
It's in a pocket, so he'll flip it open and puts it in his pocket. However, during this whole thing, as he's taking out the knives, he's putting them away. The other stormtrooper is very clearly watching all of this happen. He doesn't say a word, however, but he does take a note, and he does notice that this other stormtrooper, for one reason or another, has taken a liking to you and seems to be malleable to you at the very least.
All right. Okay, I'm going to start talking to the other stormtrooper now.
Okay, you want to try and charm him more or less?
Yeah,
what do you want to just chat him up and try and charm him?
Yeah, I'm just going to chat with him. I'm just going to be like, so...
That disadvantage is going to make this charm roll, as opposed to being a normal roll, a difficult roll.
Okay.
So you are welcome to make that particular
I'm going
roll
to.
as you like.
All right, let me know when.
You are good to go.
Okay.
You did not succeed, but you gained an advantage,
Okay.
which we can kind of play with as it goes.
Okay.
So what is your plight to him? What are you just trying to chat him up and be like, hey, what's up? How you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Small talk kind of things.
He unlike the other stormtrooper, he very much replies with one-word answers and grunts.
Okay.
He's very stoic. Not dickish, but very much like, it's not my job to talk to you when I'm not gonna.
Okay. And it's only those 2 stormtroopers back here with me?
Yes, it's just the 2 of them back there. The third one is in the cockpit with your father.
Okay. So, orgy? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that got him. He's like, all right, well, I'm your best friend now. Let's go.
Okay. I think I'm just going to thank my lucky stars that I have these.
Mm-hmm. And just
I'm
go
gonna
for the ride.
actually try to fall asleep now. Yeah.
Okay. You do your best to fall asleep. And you're in and out. Have you ever tried to sleep on a plane? Like, it's like that.
Yeah.
I fucking hate trying to sleep on planes.
It's the worst.
It's awful. And you don't even have a window seat. You don't even have something to lean against.
Yeah,
Like,
ew.
you're in the center, so if you really wanted to, you could maybe lean on the stormtrooper's shoulder.
Yep,
and see
I'm
what he-
leaning on the one that likes me. I'm doing it.
Are you actually gonna do it?
Yeah.
Ooh,
heck
all
yeah.
right, all right.
Did we roll?
This will be a charm roll for you.
Okay.
All right, it's all set. You may roll your charm.
Damn.
So you failed, but you got advantages. So as you try and lean on his shoulder in a kind of a sweet way, you kind of get nudged a little bit. He doesn't do it in a mean way. He just is like, hey, I can't.
All right. Okay.
And then you look at the other stormtrooper, he just shakes his head.
I shrug at him, smile. Girl's gotta try.
I mean, if you had gone through it, oh man, if you had succeeded that, man, that would have been
so good.
that would have been really amazing. I would have loved it.
Maybe after hours, BB.
The flight, you're flying for, you don't know how long, hours.
Wait, did I find out that stormtrooper's name or anything? Fuck.
You are able to ask, and this is going to be another coercion check to see if you can get the name out of him.
Fuck it. I was gonna try to have a friend, but it's.
Oh, I
fine.
mean, you can roll. There's no harm in rolling.
But I don't want to make him mad, and I don't want to get disadvantage points. I don't want that.
Well,
I
that's a
don't
good
want
way
that.
to
I'm
pass
already-
out really easy, is just to rack up a strain until you just can't anymore and you pass out from just stress.
Yeah, all right. Can we pretend that it was before I said I was gonna try to follow?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so another coercion roll.
It's a coercion, and it's all set. You're welcome to roll. You succeed. There you go.
Okay.
You succeed. One disadvantage. You can feel free to rack that into your strain.
Yep, it's.
And you do get his name. Give me a second, chat. I actually have a list of names I pull from to prepare for, but I totally forgot to grab it.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, that's my fault. I just gotta pop open the list that I have over here. And there's also an amazing website where you can just randomly generate a bajillion Star Wars names, which I love. He calls himself.
Yeah, I used that.
He calls himself Rara. Rara.
Okay,
If you wanna write that down.
I want to, write him down somewhere.
There's like a notes part on your character sheet somewhere.
Okay. All right.
Notes at the very far right tab.
Yep,
there you go.
yep, I
Boom.
see it. Okay.
Rara is what he calls himself.
Rara.
She just
For
earned herself a
fantastic.
stormtrooper sugar daddy.
Stormtrooper can be stormtrooper. And then also dad.
Yeah.
Asshole.
Asshole.
There we go.
So.
Ooh, rah, rah.
All right. By the way, I don't know if I told you, and I should have mentioned at the top of the episode. I totally forgot. Usually these go for about an hour or two, just
Okay.
to figure out where we're at. So
Cool.
You know, we're nearing the end of this little solo sesh that we've got going.
Sure.
So you're in and out for what seems like hours. Sometimes you feel like you slept for hours, and it feels like when you check, you've only slept for a few minutes. And sometimes it feels like you only slept for a few minutes, and you've slept for a few hours. That's how it goes for me on plane rides, anyway.
Yeah.
I never know like how long I've been asleep until my head snaps forward, and I have to like jolt myself awake. Before you are abruptly awoken by the sound of the ship alarm going off, like that typical imperial alarm. The red lights are flashing in and out, and it's like meow, meow, meow. And
Warning.
yeah,
Is popping off.
yeah, the ship is popping off. And if that wasn't enough to wake you, the jostling of the ship being hit by something definitely woke you up.
Oh god,
Completely.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah, that's probably the first thought that hits in your
Yeah.
head. As your eyes snap open, you notice that both the stormtroopers are already up from their chair, and making their way to the cockpit right now. The one in front like hits the red button, it turns to green, and then the door opens, and they're like, "What's going on?" And you hear your father and be like, "Bastards found us." And then you hear some conversation, a lot of messy conversation, and you do hear the word Tatooine kind of come out of that conversation at some point.
Okay.
Probably where you're at, where you're likely pulled. It's like, yeah, a false gravity well yanked us out of hyperdrive. We're somewhere above Tatooine right now. Our engines are not holding. We're gonna have to make an emergency landing and repair. That's the stormtrooper that's in the cockpit. That was with your dad. You hear him saying all this stuff, and then you hear your father swear, and you see him very fiercely typing away on the computer and doing some things. If you look out the window, you don't see anything on your side of the window, but that doesn't mean you're not being shot at from behind or somewhere else around. But there's no fire on the ship yet. You just got smacked really, really hard. How do I want to do this? I'll save that roll for later.
Oh, jeez.
Do you say anything, or do you just kind of panic and wait it out?
I look at Rara.
They're not looking at you right now.
Sign with him?
Nope.
Or
They're both like the two stormtroopers. One that you know is Rara, just because he looks a little different. His armor is a little different, scuffed up in different areas. They're both looking into the cockpit right now. They're not paying attention to you. If you wanted to say something, you can, or you can wait and see what happens.
I'm just gonna yell what's happening.
Okay, your yell goes ignored.
Okay.
A few more minutes pass, and the ship is clearly making a lot of maneuvers, probably evasive maneuvers. The sudden turns and jolts of the ship itself are they would probably make you sick if you weren't fucking scared, and you haven't not been scared since you got into the speeder with your uncle. It has been a hell of what might be like 10 to 12 hours or longer at this point. Eventually, boom, the ship gets hit again. The ship jostles. The lights flicker for just a moment. They clearly didn't hit the shields, they hit the ship. And the door to the cockpit snaps shut. And the light goes red, and all of the magnetic strips from all chairs open up. And you are now freed. They don't notice.
With knives.
And the two stormtroopers are right now fiddling with the door, trying to get back into the cockpit. That clearly, whatever happened, reset the computer systems, and everything got reset.
Okay. So, I am going to... Can I use my light point to somehow incapacitate not Rara?
So what that's going to mean is you're going to go up to that particular stormtrooper that you want to take out. You have to make an attack roll, use a light side point, and that'll make your attack roll better.
Okay.
That's how it's going to work. So what do you want to do? You want to try and like knock him out, like oops, I'm looking for the skills tab. There it is.
Yeah, I'm not trying to kill the dude.
Okay.
I just wanna knock him out.
So you're just gonna have to make a brawl. You basically have to make a brawl check. Is how this is gonna work.
But I have my knives.
Right, but you're not using them for lethal. You're like using the back ends of them. I'm assuming you just want to bop him. He's also wearing a helmet.
So that's brawl.
Yeah, it's gonna be a brawl check, not melee. I'm gonna double check real quick. This one, I'll make sure that I can get this the right way to you. I believe that's how it's going to work.
Okay.
Manage gear. I'm in combat right now. Activate a force power. No.
Hey, Capchiro, you haven't seen my knives, okay? They have knockout.
Yeah, they are. Combat knives. Very expensive, $25 each combat knife. Dead is pretty knocked out, says Arctic Tiger. That's true. That's very, very true.
I don't want to kill anybody.
I wonder how long that's going to last.
Yeah.
How long before you take your first life?
This is how it always happens, yeah.
Yeah. Dead is just advanced knockout. I like it. Attacking, let's see, making range attacks. Where is, like, knocking somebody unconscious in this fucking thing?
Snuggle.
Struggle, snuggle. Like, the question is, like, yeah, you want to try and take him out in one go. You don't want to have a fight. I'm assuming.
Right, yeah. I just want to knock him out so that I can talk to Rara and be like, just let me be. Like, I have to get out of here. You have to understand human to human, blah, blah, blah.
I'm just trying to see. Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Rapport with that dude.
It's going to be tough. So the way it's going to work is basically you're looking to do, instead of like lethal damage, you're looking to do strain damage on them, more or less. So what we can do is we can make you can make a yeah, you know what? There's stormtroopers. Here's what this is gonna. Here's how this is gonna go. You're gonna make a melee attack,
Okay.
but the damage you're gonna do is not gonna be lethal that goes to their wounds. It's gonna be going to their strain. Okay.
Okay.
So you're gonna sneak up behind him as quietly as you can, and then you're gonna bash him in the head. I'm not even gonna make you roll stealth. You're not far from him at all. You're just gonna make a melee attack
Yeah.
against him.
The quickness.
Yes, exactly. It's going to run up and just try and bash him as hard as it can. So I want you on your character sheet, up where the destiny pool is, hit use light side point.
Okay.
Cool. Now the question is, what do you want to use that light side point on? Do you want to upgrade your attack or downgrade his defense?
What's his? I don't know what his defense.
So
is.
you're
I
rolling
do
right
I-
now against 2 purples. It would bring it down to 1 purple. Or if you use upgrade, instead of rolling with 1 yellow and 2 green, you'll be rolling with 2 yellow and a green.
Let's make it 2 yellow and a green.
Okay, I'm going to give you an upgrade.
Okay.
And you are welcome to make that roll as you'd like.
Okay.
I gotta go let my neighbor in, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I think he knocked.
Okay. I can wait. I'll wait for you.
I hate when he does that. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. Hi, chat. How's it going? Cora here. What are you guys up to? Man, I wonder if we've been too loud or something. I don't know. I don't really know Mathis's neighboring situation. Oh, thanks, guys. It's been hard. This has been a tough one. Have to really flex that creativity muscle, you know? Capshiro, that's so nice though. Thank you. I'm really excited. Is it okay for me to link things in here? I don't know if it's okay for me to link things in here. Where's the rules? There's no rules. Okay. Well, I was going to show you guys a fun fan art that one of my viewers made of Cora that I really like. But I don't want to break any rules, so I'm gonna not do it right now. I'll ask Mathis when he comes back if I can, though, so that you guys can see it, because it's really neat. It's really neat. You get used to RPG streams very soon. Well, I will do my best. I will do my very best. Oh, dang, there's a cat. Yeah, that's a pretty kitty. I don't think you can yet, Doxy. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I won't do it. I won't do it. I wish one of my cats was here so that I could show you guys my cats. They're really cute. They're super cute. I'm very excited to see where this is going, though. Before he gets back so that I can tell you guys and he doesn't know, I was hoping that I would just end up having those knives in my jail cell so that I could like take out a guard there and then try to escape. But this is much more convenient. This is much more convenient. A shipwreck, you can get out of that, right? Well, maybe not in the middle of space. Ooh, I'm kind of scared now. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Doxy, get the cats so we can outdo them. Matt, you're funny. Yes, Doxy, but you are in the middle of space with no spacesuit. Yeah. That just dawned on me. Or you are gonna burn up and have to reroll. Wait, what? Might end up with a bodyguard? Well, I'm hoping. See, I'm kind of hoping that I can convince Rara to like be my buddy for at least this, you know? Conspiring with the chat. I mean, how else does everybody do it? You guys are on my side, right? You guys like Cora? Get a stormtrooper pet. Oh, do Lambda shuttles have like escape pods? I feel like they're too small for that. Emergency life support cabinets. I don't think that there's... Yeah, I don't think that they have like escape shuttles. That's a good idea though. Use Rara as a space pod. Man, that would have been so cool if there were escape pods on this ship. But then again, I'm a terrible pilot, so I probably would have just crashed and died anyway. I didn't put anything into my mechanical knowledge. There's no cell, just seats with cuffs, yeah. It kind of is the escape shuttle, yeah. You guys aren't wrong. Can stormtroopers survive the vacuum of space in their armor? I don't think so.
I swear, so I have this neighbor who lives like 3 stories up.
Uh-huh.
He always comes, like, if he comes home late at night, he's like a teenager. He knows I'm always up, so he always knocks on my window to let him in. I swear to God, I heard on my window. Couldn't see anything. It's pitch black out, but that's not any different. Went out there, nobody's there. Went out to my porch, nobody's there. And now my mind is racing because I know the cops have been in the area all day today.
Oh.
And I'm just like, oh God, I'm gonna die.
No, you're not gonna die. You're gonna be okay.
Did a loop around like all the windows, looking where I could. Nothing.
Oh, that's scary though.
Yeah, I hate it.
You might want to call them and see what's up. Call the non-emergency line.
Maybe.
I think you should as soon as we're done.
Yeah, I'll worry about it after.
Okay.
Could be. Maybe I'm just being haunted. But I would have seen like a figure out there, and I'm trying to think. I didn't see one. Whatever. Anyway, so if I die, you know what happened.
Real quick, I'm going to use a real life charm check to ask you, are you helping this teenager sneak in and out of his house?
I don't know if I'm helping him sneak in and out.
You're the real MVP, man.
Because he has to go into the lobby and then all the way upstairs and then in his apartment. So I don't know if he's sneaking, if he has to bust open the front door to his house or his apartment. But it's fine. He's a good kid. He's helped me shovel my car many times.
Aw, sweetheart.
He's a good guy. Oh, nope. There's the cops.
We can cut this short if, like, obviously your safety is the main priority.
That's not the cops. I think that's like local security, like the apartment security.
You're freaking me out a little bit.
It's just been a weird day of like, they're clearly looking for somebody, and I don't know who they're looking for. The only thing I can think of is like a month or 2 ago, there was like somebody in the area taking wheels off of cars and like stealing them. So I'm wondering if that guy's back. No, he's leaving. All right. I don't know. All right. You play survival games, Mathis. Do you have any silverware to defend yourself? Oh, dude, I'm ready. I'm good to go. I have plenty of tools at my disposal. Did you make the roll? No, not yet. We're about to make it.
Not yet. We were waiting.
Okay, cool. All right. You're going to get up behind this guy with your knife, the blunt end of the knife that you kind of just yank out of your pocket that this guy gave you because you charmed his pants off. You are welcome to make the...
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. That's so unlucky. That is
How am I the worst at rolling dice?
Unlucky. So unlucky. Oh. My little heart. It breaks for you, Doxy. It breaks for you.
Shut up. You're loving this.
So you sneak up to this guy, and you want to make it quick. However, that disadvantage tells you Rah-Rah betrayed you at the last minute. It was like, behind you! As you are about to, like, crack this guy, and he's able to just quickly sidestep him, and they flip both of their rifles at you instantly, and now they're both pointing at you. Let's roll initiative, shall we? So you're gonna have to roll your the initiative you want is under combat. Cool. You're gonna roll your cool, and I'll roll mine. So you just gonna have to roll cool. So you have 1 success, 3 advantages. I need to open up the actual initiative tracker. We're gonna delete this. Do you see the turn order over here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna roll their initiatives now.
I do not understand how this initiative roll works.
So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna tell you how it works. It'll make more sense when everything's going. So they're gonna roll cool. All right. So basically, the way initiative works, this is either NPCs. I don't know why it says PCs. I rolled them off the NPC chart. Weird. So the first number is the number of successes you rolled. The second number is the number of advantages you rolled.
Okay.
And the way it works is, so he should be. It should look like that. So 2-1, 2-0, 1-3, pretty sure, is how it's supposed to go. And then the way it actually works in combat when you have other party members is you all roll your initiative, but then each round you decide who goes in what initiative. So it's not like Doxy rolled 3 initiatives. She goes first. It's no, Doxy rolled a 3 initiative. So she gains the player is the first slot in the initiative roll. When it's your turn to go, you all decide which of the 4 people is going to take that first slot. So you
Okay.
can organize that way. Reeked of stale sweat, owning the numerous perspiring stormtroopers they hauled across the galley. Yeah, I mean, it's elegant looking, but it's also just a fucking Lambda shuttle.
Also, wait, why are there 3 NPCs?
You see 3? I only see 2.
I see 3. There's 2-1, 2-0, and 1.3.
1.3 is you.
Oh, okay.
Because you
My
rolled 1 success, 3
Okay.
advantages.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna get fucked up.
Well, so the first, so they get to both go first. Rara actually takes the lead, and he steps forward, and he's like, "You're gonna sit back in your chair right now, and we're gonna forget any of this happened. You got it?" And he actually has his hand extended a little bit onto the chest of the other stormtrooper. The other stormtrooper looks rearing to act, but he does not act. It goes to you.
I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, Rara. You know I have to do this.
All right, what are you gonna do?
I'm going to attack not Rara.
Okay, and are you gonna attack lethally, or are you gonna attack non-lethally?
Oh, geez. I don't know which one is more likely to be successful right now. Is it the same?
It's
roll?
about the same. You just yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna tell
Well,
you.
I'm not my dad. I don't kill people, so I'm going to.
I love how that we've already got that figured out. I like how you've already heard your dad talk and you've made a decision about your character. Since this is not a surprise attack, as it were, you do have 2 knives.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to just use? Do you want to try and do like a double attack kind of thing?
Well,
or?
first let's put me where I go so that I can see what's happening here. So I'm engaged, right?
So yeah,
Like,
you're
I'm
basically going to be
forward.
considered engaged with both of them.
Okay.
Because you're just engaged means you're in melee striking distance of all of them. So
Okay.
you're going to be engaged. So don't worry about
Okay.
that.
And so I won't need to use any movement points or any. Will I be able to attack with both weapons each turn? And
So
that
yeah,
will-
we're gonna. I'm whipping open the rule again. Just 2 weapon combat. We're gonna read this
Okay.
out loud so people understand
Alright.
how it works. When attacking with 2 weapons, the character must be wielding 2 weapons that can each be reasonably held and wielded in one hand. Generally, these weapons are ranged light weapons, pistols or grenades, and one-handed melee weapons or brawl weapons, which is what you have 2 knives. If it's unclear whether or not the weapon can be wielded, blah blah. To make the attack, the person performs a combined check. First, the character denotes one weapon as the primary weapon. When making the combined check, he will be attacking with this weapon. He then determines what skills and characteristics he would use to make the attack. He would make the attack with a primary weapon, and his secondary weapon finally determines the target. To assemble the dice pool for this check, the player compares the skills that would be used to make an attack with each weapon, compares the characteristics that he would use to attack each weapon. He then takes the skill that he has lower ranks in. It actually, because they're both the same weapon, it doesn't matter. You're both going to be using melee. Use the skill and characteristics assembles the dice pool. It is very possible the ranks are when he compares the difficulty, blah, blah, blah. If he succeeds, he hits with his primary weapon as normal. He may also spend 2 advantages or a triumph to hit his secondary weapon as well. If both weapons hit, he may spend an additional advantage or triumph to activate qualities, whatever. Each hit deals its base damage plus 1 damage per uncancelled success. So you're gonna make your first attack, and then we're gonna take a look at what you roll and make decisions from there. Basically, is what it boils down to. So let me give you your difficulties. I'm not gonna upgrade you anymore. All right, you are welcome to make your first attack.
Swing away.
Swing away.
Oh my
Sweet.
fucking god.
Disadvantage. Would you like to take that as strain?
Yeah, I have to.
So it goes
I
up to
have
9. So you rush this guy. You look at Rara and you're like, I'm sorry, I have to. And you just run at this guy with the, you've got your knives out, but the last second you turn him to hit it with the butt of it. This guy is trained in combat in a way you are not. And he quickly just thrusts his foot out and like kicks you before you're able to get any closer to him, making you stumble back a couple feet. He is going to, you see them flick something on their rifle and they level their rifle right at you. This guy is going to make his shot at you first. Skills. Down it goes. Okay.
Our knives have butts. No wonder.
So you have 1 defense, right? But he's attacking in
Yeah, I have 1 soak. I have
One-
no defense.
Okay, you got 1 soak. Okay, cool.
Hold on, let me check here. Oh, I have 4 soak.
Okay, that means you're gonna
And
take
0 defense.
4 of the damage like nothing if he hits you in the first place.
Okay.
I just want to make sure. Engaged with a... Okay, he's gonna get an extra difficulty die because you're currently considered engaged and he's trying to fire his weapon within engaged space. So it's much difficult. He's gonna have a hard time hitting you in engaged space, but he's gonna try.
Go ahead.
GM device pool. I want to make sure this works the way I think it's gonna work. Oh no, he's gonna have an extra difficulty because he's firing with a rifle. Oh, he's gonna have a hard time hitting you in engaged, but we'll see what happens.
Smack me instead.
I mean, he could, but he's not.
Okay.
He's gonna try and shoot you.
Stupid stormtroopers.
Stupid stormtroopers. All right, here we go. Let's make sure this rolls correctly. Her dad and the other stormtrooper, as far as they know,
locked in the cockpit,
he's locked in the cockpit. When the ship got shot and the manacles came off, the door had shut and auto-locked as well. You don't know how long it's going to take for him to break through. He fails. He with 2 disadvantage, which he takes immediately as strain. So basically what ends up happening is he levels his rifle at you. You see him flick a switch. You hear like a weird humming from the rifle. And like this fear in your eyes as you're like, oh shit, I've never been shot before. And he fires a couple blaster bolts. However, right as he shoots, the ship gets hit and he gets rocked off of his balance and he smacks his head up against the side of the Lambda shuttle as the bolt kind of hits the ceiling and burns into the side. It was a blue laser that flew out this time, and you knew for a fact that when they were initially shooting at you guys in the speeder, it was red lasers. So, yeah, he smacks his head in the side and he stumbles a bit.
So he's trying to stun instead of kill?
Yes.
Is that what's going on? Okay.
Yeah. Whether your character knows that or not, who knows? But you know that. You know.
I had noticed that there's
different colors.
At
Yeah.
least. Yeah.
Yep. So Rara hesitates for a minute before he just lets out a sigh and he pulls the trigger on you as well.
Oh, Rara, why you do me like this?
It's just a job. I will use a dark side point on this to make it less difficult for him. Oops.
Yeah,
wrong
it's
button.
just a job, but I'm a potential wife.
Wait, what the hell am I doing? I'm hitting the wrong buttons. There we go. Use dark side point. Lower the difficulty to hit you. Future wife, is that what you said? Damn it!
Potential wife.
Potential wife. He just misses completely.
Yes.
He fires, and you're not sure if it's because he hesitated or if he missed on purpose, but he definitely missed you. It goes to you.
All right, we're gonna swing on not Rara.
So you're gonna fucking like realize like he got knocked and stumbled. The other guy missed. Take your opportunity and once again charge in. You actually hear shouting happening on the other side of the door. You like muffled, like, what's going on in there? Is she loose? You better get her. Like you hear like shouting happening. Feel free to. Oh, hang on. Hang on.
Do I need to reroll?
You are going to need to reroll. Yes.
Okay, my bad.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Do you want to use the light side point? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, you may now roll. You're good. You crushed him.
That's a crit.
That's a crit, and it doesn't matter because that's so much strain damage. So you basically he's stumbling, and as Rara takes a shot and misses, you kind of like duck down and just take a couple quick steps up against him, and just swiftly as you can, without even putting too much thought into it, the butt of your dagger, you crack him in the side of the head, and that was enough to actually have him collapse, and he collapses to the ground.
I'm gonna look down at the knife, look at the guy, look at Rara, and smile. Like, can you believe I just did that?
Okay, that was your action. You still have a maneuver. A maneuver will let you do things like pick up the gun if you want to.
I'm gonna pick up the gun.
Okay. So you quickly like throw your knives in your pocket, and you bend down.
Oh, no, I want the gun in my pocket. I want to keep my knife.
It's a rifle, so it's big. It's like this big.
Oh.
So there's
well,
no
how
like
about I kick the rifle away? Like to like
out of the area?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you turn to face Rara in a combative stance?
Yes.
Okay. It goes to him, and he this time much less hesitation to fire on you.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And we will use another dark side point to make it less difficult to hit you.
Okay.
Oh God, I failed again. So he fires again his rifle at you. This time again, like I said, much less hesitation, and the bolt misses barely misses you, but he does not hit. It goes to he's actually going to spend a maneuver. He could only put himself within short distance of you, so he's going to spend a maneuver to put himself at the back end of the Lambda shuttle, so he has more space between you and him.
Is that closer to the gun?
No, not closer to the gun. He's wielding the same gun the other guy was wielding, so I mean, it's unlikely for him to pick up a second.
I just want to be able to pick up the gun before my dad gets out, in case.
I got you.
Okay. All right. So, can I take an opportunity to talk to him for a second?
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome to.
All right. I'm gonna be like, you don't like him. I don't like him. We can escape this together right now. We have an opportunity to get out of this.
Interesting choice. You want to coerce him then? You would like to try and make a coercion roll.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna use a light side point.
Ooh, all right. What would you like to use it for? Upgrade or downgrade?
Gosh, I don't know. I wish I knew better.
You'll learn. Upgrade is usually the way to go. I'll just say that. Like,
okay,
upgrading is usually the way to go.
I will upgrade.
All right, I'll give you an upgrade. You are welcome to make that roll when you are ready. You fail. No disadvantages or advantages either. You just straight rolled like garbage.
Fuck.
He looks at you. So he doesn't respond. He doesn't say anything to you. We're going to consider that your maneuver check. So all you can really do is spend your one action to get a second maneuver and get back within engaged range of him. You can't make an attack on him this turn.
Okay.
Do you want to get back in engaged range, or would you rather stay distant?
I need to make it harder for him to hit me. So
you get back in engaged range and you're back in. Love is dead. Doesn't mean she can't try again. Don't get me wrong. So he's trying
again next turn.
He's gonna go ahead and use another dark side point to try and hit you, because he wants to put you out as fast as he can. This maybe pains him a little to do, and he's gonna fire on you again. He succeeds.
Okay. How much damage is that?
That is going to be how much strain can you're going to be put out, unfortunately, with that.
Ah, damn it.
You're going to be knocked out. So he fires off one more shot on you, and the blue laser actually connects. And the visual that you see is when the blue laser connects, almost like this blue wave goes up and down your whole body, and it spreads out, and you get stiff really quickly, and you just kind of hit your knees, and then you just kind of fall over unconscious, kind of letting your things go.
Wah, wah, wah.
Now the question is, she rested? Did she get a good enough rest to heal?
It doesn't seem like it. If it's airplane sleep.
Yeah, but by the rules, if you got a short rest. That's true. I did forget you did go in and out of sleep. For the fact that I rolled 2 disadvantage. Now she tried to. It's airplane rest. I'll give this, let's see. What does chat say? I'm curious. I know they're going to give you and put it in your favor probably. But you did bounce in and out of sleep a little bit. But I'm tempted to...
We can roll to see instead.
I'll do this. I'm gonna put you at 1. You have 1 more turn before passing out unconscious. This still hit you, and it still did a ton of damage. Okay. And because it was a short rest, you didn't heal all of your strain. But enough... where you're gonna have one more shot at this guy. Okay. Because I depending on how this goes, I already know which way it's gonna go. All right, you're engaged with him. This is your last shot. What do you want to do?
Okay, I'm using a light side point and trying to convince him again.
Okay. You are going to try and convince him again. You want to upgrade your dice, I assume. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be the same roll as last time. Okay. You're welcome to. 2 successes and a strain. Okay. Do you want to take it? Do you want to take the strain and knock yourself out?
No.
And see what happens and wake up and see what happens? Or do you want to okay. You'll just the disadvantage will go elsewhere. I know where it'll go. We're good. So what do you say?
I say, we can do this. We can overtake them, me and you versus him and him. We can overtake him. We can land this ship. And we can be far away from here.
There's a moment of hesitation, and there's a moment of hesitation. There's almost awkward, tense silence. This stare between you. His gun leveled at you. Your knives, as best you can, like prepared. Ooh, gassy. Best you can to pop this guy. And as you're thinking what's about to happen, and you're scared for your life. Is he going to put you out? Is he not? You hear the door behind you open. As you turn to look, a blue blaster bolt gets fired off, and it goes flying over your shoulder and hits the stormtrooper on the other side of the shuttle on the cockpit. He drops, and then all of a sudden you turn to Rara. You see him flip it again. He takes another shot, hitting the lock, shuts the cockpit down.
He loves me.
And with that, he looks to the corpse on the ground, the unconscious corpse on the ground that you knocked out, and he looks to you, and he's like, he looks out the window, and he actually takes off his helmet, and he pulls it off, and he like throws it to the ground, and he puts the rifle, has a sling, and he slings it over his shoulder, and the gun kind of hangs on his back, and he looks panicked. You see a very younger than you, maybe late teenager person, with a very clean shaven, and he's nothing matters. He's of Asian descent, and a really short crew cut hair. And he looks worried. He looks out the window. He's like, Tatooine's coming up fast. He has to land us. As soon as that thing lands, I'm gonna open up the back. We have to run.
Yes, Rara, yes. Should we get him in a chair? Should we get him in a chair? As soon as this thing lands, is it gonna reclasp the prisoners?
He looks. He's like, help me lift him. And he just like, so you both go on in either side, and you lift up this other stormtrooper and place him in there, and have his hands kind of sit there, and you see him mess with some of the electronics, and then the manacles come up and lock him in place. This guy clearly is a little useful with technology. And he shakes his head, and he wide-eyed kind of puts his hands up against the side of the Lambda shuttle and looks at the window, and he's like, what the fuck am I doing?
It's okay, Rara. You have me. I'm with you. And I put my knives away. I pick up the other gun, the other rifle.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome to.
I prepare to run.
And with that, the camera pulls out the window of the side of the Lambda shuttle, and it slowly zooms out to see the Lambda shuttle making its way down towards Tatooine. A little bit of smoke. It's not crashing or anything. And some unidentified fighters are you can hear behind it firing off lasers, but they're not in tow as this particular shuttle is heading towards Tatooine. And then we'll have a nice wipe to black as we call it episode 0.
Oh my god, I can't believe at just the right time. Yes.
There you go.
So
you did
excited.
it. You did it. And when we pick up with episode 1, we'll see what happened with Korra and her new friend Rara, and what they're going to what adventures they may or may not have ensued upon. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. The end. Episode 0 for Doxy.
Yay.
Everybody have fun?
I had so much fun.
Make sure you got all those names written down, right?
Rara and Dad.
Yeah, that's all the ones I gave you.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, that's a cool little link you gave me. Is that just like
Oh yeah, I use that sometimes, just like for board game nights and stuff. I can email them and see if we can use it.
Cool. Yeah, that's fine with me. So for next week, everybody, it's either going to be episode 1 or episode 0 of the 4th player. Working on that right now. Either way, we'll be playing next Wednesday, one way or another. Doxy, you might not be playing next Wednesday, and it might be 2 weeks
That's
for
fine.
you. But I'll let you know as soon as I know, and we'll go from there. I
Sure.
hope you guys had a really good time. I had a great time watching you figure out who Korra is. And I think my personal favorite moment in that was listening to you say, I'm not like my father, I don't kill like him. Just from the speech he gave. Thanks. Thank you for playing, Doxy. You were wonderful.
Yeah.
It was really, really fun.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I love this. I'm having so much fun.
Good. I'm glad. I'm having a blast as well.
Yeah.
So that's episode 0. If you guys want to watch, it'll be free up on the Lost Initiative YouTube channel in a few days. If you want to watch it right after, if you're a subscriber, you can watch the VOD immediately afterward. We are going to be picking up here on the Tatooine eventually. Very, very soon. Doxy, thank you for joining me. Where can people find you? What do you do? All that good stuff.
I am a variety streamer. I'm doing lots of Sea of Thieves lately. I'm over at twitch.tv/ZER0DOXY and twitter.com/ZERODOXY.
Of course.
Sorry that it is confusing, but you know.
Oh, I love it. Korara. I like it. Korara is his new OTP. Aw, adorable. Awesome. And if you guys want to, tweet at the show and all that good stuff, Lost in It Show on Twitter. We have a subreddit. The link's down below if you want to go talk about stuff on the subreddit. And I think that's it as far as where you can reach the show. If you are on the Patreon and all that stuff, there's Discord access. But so you guys know, and we'll have a formal announcement soon, me and Scott are going to be revamping the Patreon from the ground up to include new rewards, like being able to, if you're certain tiers, can create items or NPCs that you see appear in the campaign. All kinds of cool stuff that we're going to make it a much more interactive experience for those who are on the Patreon. But we'll get to that in the next week or so. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's good to be back, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.